Good evening, everybody. Dude79 here, just doing a quick mic check to make sure the levels are good and that you can hear us loud and clear. And unfortunately, that means you can hear Tone loud and clear. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I'm the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague and renowned piece of shit, Mr. Fanboy Tone. Mr. Fanboy Tone, what's good, man?
Not a whole lot. What's with this weather breaking? Getting warm weather all of a sudden?
Yeah, dude. It was really enjoyable this week.
Yeah, it's been nice, and it's been awful for my allergies and my sleep. So, sweet.
Yeah, man. I've really enjoyed being able to come home and just the windows all open and nice breeze coming through the house.
Been opening the windows.
Finally. But then tomorrow I think it's supposed to drop down to the 40s or 50s.
Cool.
Next 2 days.
Sweet.
But then it goes back to the 60s and 70s. So hopefully, this weekend's supposed to be nice and warm. So hopefully that rain will just move on through and it'll get nice again. Hey, what's going on? There he is, St. John's Jason. He'll be at all 3 days at Astronomicon.
There you go. You said it right.
I did say it right. I know how to pronounce shit. I'm smart.
Wait, is Drasson's in there?
Yeah, Drasson's in here tonight. Uh-oh. You can't read already?
No, I was looking at the bar. I thought they were talking he's in the background.
Oh.
I'm like, wait, what?
He still can't see, guys. He can't see shit.
No.
Ben Cole here as well. Only 78 today. You poor man.
Whoa,
Yeah, throw on a hoodie and some sweatpants. That's chilly. I want the 50s. 50s?
Shirt cocking.
Panda, what you talking about, bro?
Hey, what's up with that, bro?
Hey, there he goes. What's up, Josie Wales? What's going on, man? Yeah, Dungeon's here. Tricky Region's here. Tricky and I saw a body get pulled out of the river today. That was cool. Nothing like going to work and seeing a body getting dragged out of the Saginaw
I saw
River.
a pretty big article about not the suspect, but who they think maybe Ubisoft developers.
Oh, geez. Somebody else spoke out against Star Wars Outlaws and their pre-order prices and what. This is actually pretty good.
Pretty good brown.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had this. I think I have had the Bel Air brown one.
I have not had this. So we're drinking Shorts Brew Bel Air Brown, a classic American brown ale, 7.0.
Yeah,
I can see why there's 4 of these in front of me and only 2 in front of you.
It's a pretty good brown.
This is a very good brown, which means I'm going to be fucking shit-faced by the time the credits roll on this show. So Yahoo.
Yeah.
The last man to see the Master Chief without his helmet. Oh boy, that's who's in the water. Okay.
Okay, Drass.
Cuddles, you keep your 80. I'll keep the 50s. Oh, Panda, hold on, dude. He says it's too hot out. Today it was too hot. What was it, 60s? Panda, we got to talk, bro.
It's that Michigan blood, like
dude. Look,
cold blood.
I've been here all day, my entire life, every day, and I never sitting there going, "Give me 50s over 80s or 70s." That's I don't know. Panda, are you okay?
I like
Blink
a
twice
nice
if you're okay.
mid to high 70s, low humidity, and maybe a breeze once in a while. That's my perfect.
Nice little breeze coming
just
through.
A little breeze coming through.
Gentle touch.
Yeah, that way if your shirt cocking, you get a little air on your taint.
Oh, there you go. Hot with a vehicle in the sun, maybe. Pandas are hairy. I mean, I'm a fur ball, so I mean, I don't mind heat. It's the humidity that bothers fat, hairy guys. It's the humidity that becomes the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Straight heat, I'm cool with, but humidity, gross.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going. Cuz put him in timeout. Okay, put him back in timeout for like a month. Let's see, or just keep him in there until fall, and then he'll be in better spirits when it's fucking cold. Hey, there's Brian.
He
MX.
does live.
He is alive and well.
He is alive.
He's back from the front lines, man. The automatons have made a big push, and they're threatening democracy. And even Super Earth, like things got really hectic today. I don't even know if we're gonna fucking finish the major order. There's no way. I feel like we're destined to fail this one, but we'll see what's going on. Fuck those bots. I agree, Josie. Fuck them bots. Brian, how's everything going on your end, man? Automatons are pushing in me now I'm back. Wow. Now I know why you were gone for so long. They're pushing in hard on Brian. That's why he's been.
It doesn't help. He's up on the field waving, going, "Hey, I'm over here."
Bring that
out.
Devastator over here, damn it.
Wearing his little undies and just kind of chilling out there like this.
Dude, Josie mentioned that we need that nanofiber as a stratagem from Three Body Problem. That'd be a street stratagem to call in when you see one of those AT-ATs come in. They start getting shredded. That'd be fucking dope.
That would be pretty gnarly, actually.
That'd be pretty exciting. But Tone, what's new with you, man? What's going on, bro?
The quest to organize the basement still has been continuing. The joke was made yesterday that it's 1998 in my basement because I was literally cleaning and organizing what CDs I've kept.
What's a CD? My kid asked that the other day. What's a CD?
Well, it stands for compact disc.
Yes, it does.
And it's round and silver usually, but yeah. So I went through about my 325 amount of them in.
Are they all mixtapes that you made, or are there some like legit?
They're all my fucking mixtapes.
Hey man, I'm just saying, burn CD. Maybe you're burning some CDs.
Right. Some of them were, but no.
Okay.
They're all legitimate CDs. So I tossed out a lot that I don't care about because back then when we were growing up, like that's how you got your music. Yeah. And even if there was one good song on an album, you bought the fucking album. Yeah. So. Well, I can bust up some Boys II Men at any point.
Oh, a little B2M, okay.
Yeah, which I was cleaning those off yesterday too. Man. So I saved a lot of like my favorite like style of music and bands that I needed to. Oh, what? Do you have a spot for your laser? Yeah, right. The laser disc. Funny you say that. One of my all-time favorite Kevin Smith flubs and quotes was, I believe, on the Chasing Amy commentary, made a comment and said, DVD sucks, Laserdisc is where it's at, because I think they got an exclusive thing with Laserdisc, and he was blah 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 about it, and like not only probably a year later they were saying, well, we're done with that shit. So Laserdisc, that's funny. Yeah,
I'd be looking for, if I went through my CDs, I'd be looking for Color Me Bad. Yeah. I mean, everyone was all about Boys II Men. I was a Color Me Bad guy. I thought Color Me Bad was dope. No, Chris Cross.
There you go.
Was another guy.
That checks.
And oh god, who did Jump around?
House of Pain.
House of Pain. I got a House of Pain one.
There you go. No, I was real big into Boys II Men, so I was cleaning some of those off. I was huge into DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, like early on, before even the TV series was like super hype. Like I was already listening to that music. No Diddy, damn, hell no.
You would think Boys II Men would involve Diddy, or that'd be Men to Boys.
Yeah, something.
That'd be the other way around. I think
I didn't do
Men on Boys. I don't even know.
I'm a big Tupac guy, so we didn't listen to a lot of bad.
Love
stuff.
some Pac. Yep, I listened to some Pac, and then
one B.I.G.
Bone Thug.
Both love some Bone Thugs.
Yeah.
Yep. That Cleveland Midwest hip hop. Yep. Oh yeah.
Man, you were digging up some old CDs, man. Now, did you find any in there where you were like, "Holy shit, I forgot I even had this," like, or that you were really excited about?
Not really. No, because the weird thing. Well, no, not really. Because part of it with me, especially when it comes to like movie and like CDs and things like that, when I buy shit like that, it's filed away, and I don't typically forget that shit. I can't find my Dayton Family's CD.
Fuck
actually,
yeah, Jay Hill.
Actually, great that you
Two Live that. Crew, man.
Crew, there you go.
Man,
but yeah, it's a mix of like when I first got my CD player, one of my first CDs was Green Day, Dookie.
Oh,
was MTV Party Mix number 3, I think, to go, and a DJ Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince Code Red album. Those are my first 3 that I think I got. So
I remember burning out my Blackstreet cassette back in college. No Diggity didn't stand a chance. No Diggity.
That's right. That's right. And
Man.
don't forget that Dre was on that track for a hot minute too. No Diggity, no doubt.
Man, I kind of want to go. I know I have an album somewhere with like a few like CDs that I burned that I put together some mix albums and shit. But
I had one called The Mix, and this was because
Nickelback and who else?
No, this was because growing up, we were a bunch of potheads, so so it was like we had the Gambler on there, we had John Cougar Mellencamp on there, we had Tom Petty on there.
Oh, okay.
So it was just something like we'd sit around a fire and play like the mix of like all these kind of like stoner kind of music, and just chill
Keith Sweat, was that Nobody?
Yeah,
was that Keith Sweat?
Yeah,
Song?
Oh yeah.
I remember some Keith Sweat, dude.
Oh yeah.
Some dude. That was I think I might have got my first handy to Keith Sweat. I can't not for certain, but I think that's when I got. I think I got my first handy.
It was weird. Was that church? Really odd.
Father Mike said it was cool. Nothing said
right.
90s like giving your crush a personal mix CD.
Oh, Cosmolite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaza was what I used. I know a lot of people use some of like Napster and some of the others, but Kaza was the one that I used.
I think I used Kaza for a minute. There was a couple of them. I didn't use Napster. I think I used Kaza. What was the other one?
Brother.
There was another one that people used. I didn't use Napster though.
There was another one.
LimeWire. LimeWire.
That's
what I used. Yeah, I used LimeWire.
I used Kaza. I know a lot of people. I remember Drastin using LimeWire. It's funny you bring up Sublime too, Trick. Apparently, I think it's Sublime. I think Sublime, Bradley Noel's kid, sounds like him, and I think has been doing some like shows with Sublime again. So,
oh really?
That's pretty interesting because there's been like you got Alice in Chains out there still doing their thing as well too, even though Lane Stacy passed so long ago. And a couple other bands as well too, but it's it's interesting because I just found that out that Sublime might be doing that sort of thing right now too. So
downloaded off Kaza, man. I fucking forgot about Kaza, man.
I remember my claim to fame off Kaza, and this was really hard to do because I was super huge into the Tony Hawk games, and their soundtracks were always like fucking banging, right?
Yeah.
THPS 2, the Pro Skater 2 soundtrack is still my favorite of all of them. And there's a couple songs on there that were so fucking hard. It took me months to get them. But when I finally did, I think Evil Eye, it was a Fu Manchu song, I think was one of them. And I remember the other one. It was so tough to get them downloaded. But yeah, man.
We are so dating ourselves with this conversation.
Yeah. I know, because great, because it's funny because I say that the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack 2 or vice versa, because recently, like probably a couple months ago, I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, I haven't listened to that soundtrack in a while. Yeah. And like now I can just literally go on Spotify and fucking play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
anybody under 30 that comes across our show and hears this segment's going to be like, well, who the fuck what are they fucking talking about?
Right. Yeah. Incubus is coming back around again too. I really like Green Day is coming around as well too. I think they're gonna be at Comerica again. Kind of want to go to that one because
are they coming to Comerica?
Yeah, so I saw them at Comerica a couple years ago, post COVID, I think it was.
Boomer and Babble.
But they confirmed on Stern a couple of weeks ago or a month ago or whatever, they're gonna play the full Dookie album and full American Idiot album on this tour, and I've never seen either of those on like a tour. So the full albums, that's pretty wild.
Do y'all old folks like Ice Spice?
The name sounds familiar.
Tony Hawk and Digimon movie soundtracks formed my musical taste for life.
Tony Hawk games had such a great variety of like hip hop, metal, rap, all that good
Trick's
shit.
Not a fan of Ice Spice.
There it is.
Man, nothing was better than getting home from school and watching Carson Daly on TRL trying to record some videos.
Yeah, man.
Man, Total Request Live. Man, is MTV even still a thing?
I don't know. Is
that still a channel? Do they even do music?
I don't know. But what you can do is the greatest, and I swear it must be connected to TV because it looks like it. The Pluto app has music channels.
Oh, really?
And they rotate hour by hour, like the kind. So, like, there was a couple Fridays ago, I was just kind of chilling, doing stuff in the basement, and it was rotating through, like, 90s, like, hip-hop, 90s, like, R&B, and then, like, 80s grunge music, and then, like, this, that, and the other. So
I mean, I guess my question
like
is
music videos.
My question to you, and like I said, I've been out of the scene when it comes to like music. Does anybody do music videos anymore? Is that still a thing?
They do.
Do they? So I mean,
not like a channel. It's all YouTube now.
Okay, but people still do music videos.
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, I always thought that once MTV started going, I was like, man, they must have just stopped doing music videos. But like, so on Pluto, it shows like videos from like the 90s and 80s and shit.
Fuck yeah, it does.
Dude, I mean, is there like an 80s rock? Is there an 80s rock hour?
They rotate all. Yeah, there's a couple music channels.
Fuck.
Listen, Pluto TV. If you guys don't realize this, is one of those. Like I like Tubi as well too.
VH1, yeah.
But Pluto TV is next level. They got a whole Godzilla channel that they do. You can watch old school 80s like He-Man and Transformers.
Damn.
Like they got a lot of shit. They got science channels. They got fucking astronomy channels, history channels. It's like old school cable for free. It's a free app. You can sign. I mean, you literally just create an account and boom, there you go.
That's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
I'm telling you,
I didn't realize they had all the. I didn't realize they had all like the 80s rock videos and shit, man.
Dude, there'll be sometimes I'm
Def Leppard and all that shit. Let's go.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's wild, man. So
fuck Paradise City. I always thought that video was dope as fuck.
You two killed the video star. Yeah, you're right.
Dope means cool, Brian.
Yep.
Brian, you should know that.
Cuddles talking about pop-up video.
Yeah, pop-up video.
That was the shit. I love
the song we playing, and then like bubbles would pop up with like, oh, this person was high as fuck in this video or some shit.
Talking about the CDs as well too, trying to get them on for like when I first started getting like those custom phones or the flip phones and stuff where you do like that.
Yeah,
that was the same thing, man. You had to fucking figure it out how to get it on your phone and create that shit, man. Struggle was real back then.
Man,
crazy.
I feel like this is a topic we could just derail into. What's a flip phone? Oh, dude,
bro.
You know, I think I don't know if I actually had a flip phone. I went from a track phone was my first cell phone, and then. Maybe I did have. Oh god, I had a Motorola. I had a Motorola flip.
Did you?
And then I went to a Palm, which lasted for about a year, and then they went out of business.
Pilots.
Palm
yeah,
Pilot.
I had a Palm. Yeah. Was it the mini? The
little one. Yeah,
you flip it with a little button. Yeah. Fucking love my Palm Pilot, bro.
Yeah, man.
It was so tiny in your hand.
I had a Palm for a minute.
My hands look big for
dude, a Palm. Brian's so confused. He's like, "What fucking era is this, bro?"
So I started out with like one of those Motorola like prepaid. It wasn't a flip. It was just one of those
track phone was prepaid.
Yeah, so maybe it's similar kind of thing. And then like once we got past that, I think 2003 I got my first actual.
Cheers to that.
2003 was it? Yeah, I got my first Nextel phone, and it had the chirp. So so it didn't cost any minutes. You could just like.
It was walkie-talkie.
It was like walkie-talkie. You know what I mean?
That.
Awful service.
Oh, was it really bad?
Awful service. Well, I would live rurally.
So I did have Motorola from I can't remember what one, but I had a gray one that was a flip. And they had like, dude, the font on the screen was like Fallout, their font, green font. That's all it was on the screen. Like it was a piece of it was very very old.
The first real upgrade I got outside of the Nextel, because the Nextel I had that, it was, I think I upgraded one time and it was starting to get into the texting was just taken off. And then I got the Helios Ocean when I started working at GameStop.
Wow.
It was a crazy flip phone with a QWERTY keyboard, but it had like internet capabilities and I could browse on it and stuff like that. And that was in like 2007. Yeah. Gnarly fucking phone.
Cuddles just took me back. You had to wait till after 9 to call your girls so your minutes would be free. Remember, it was like after
it was like 9 o'clock or something. Well,
weekends free or something. Weekends at night are free or some shit. Yeah. God, I forgot plans were like that, man. That's so God, that is. I tell
everybody right now. I actually bought a new phone yesterday, literally. It's gonna be here tomorrow, and I used to, when the phone thing started kicking off around the pilot time.
Yeah,
I was one of those phone techie guys. Like, gotta get the HTC one, gotta get this one. Yeah. I was starting to, and then all of a sudden they started coming out nonstop, and every company started doing it. Right.
Yep.
So I stopped caring about that a long time ago, but once I got Cricket, like I just buy phones for under $200 every couple years.
That's awesome.
And I'm good to go. Like I won't let them get me on a leasing plan. I pay $55 a month for unlimited everything in 5G.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fucking, and it's AT&T service. So
yeah. Your divorced dad calling the house phone to tell you went over your minutes. It costs him an extra $50 a month.
Yeah, you have a collect call from blah 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 state penitentiary.
Thank you guys for the history lessons tonight.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're taking you back to our time.
Yeah.
Jeez, pagers. Now we're talking about pagers. My dad had a pager.
I had a pager.
Did you? I never had a pager. My dad had one, but instead of getting a pager, he got me a track phone. That's when those first came out.
It wasn't like everything got anything good. Like, hey, we want to hang out. Usually my friend would say, come suck my dick or something like that. Suck my dick.
Dude, it's funny. Carlos just said trying to jerk it and granny calls and kicks you off AOL. I remember there was when we had when we first got AOL in our neighborhood, that's when you find out you get that buffering porn where you got like a 10-second clip, and that was awesome. I remember one night I was just like, I gotta watch something, and I think my mom? She was playing something on there, like a card game online or some shit, and so I was like, fuck this. So I went in the bedroom and I pulled the cord out of the wall just so it would kick her offline, and then she left the room. Then I went back in there and just took care of business.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, you just pull out the plug, and the parents are so old, they're just like, oh, the game crashed, and I can't play more cards,
right.
and she'd leave. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go rub one out now. But, yeah, dude, man, I can't believe dial-up. Can you believe how much shit we were able to do on dial-up? I keep thinking about when I wanted to play SOCOM 2, I had to hear the dial-up to get on.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I lived rurally, man, so we had limited access to shit.
Yeah.
Like, we had, it was literally phone line dial-up back then for a long time.
Jesus.
And my mom still can't get anything but satellite fucking internet out there.
Oh, she can only get satellite?
Yeah,
does anyone
it's
else
awful out there.
Have you ever used satellite? Has anyone out there used satellite internet? I've always wondered, like, how consistent it is.
I think the Starlink stuff is pretty all right overall, but I know the problem with satellite is just like satellite TV growing up. Like, it can be inconsistent when weather is incremental. Like, if you get bad winds, you get snow, shit can fuck with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Man.
it's pretty hot. She gets it from like through Verizon, but like she's literally to the corner, two of her corners where she's out rurally could pipeline into her, but they don't want to pay to do it, and she's offered to pay them lots of money to do it.
Green ET, I had to leave World of Warcraft downloading for 3 nights on my 512 meg. I forgot all about that shit, man. There was times you had to do that, like even like in the PS3 era, there'd be times like, oh, this is like fucking 25 gigs, and my internet was like, three down at the most. I'd be like, well, I'll just leave this on until next month, and I should be able to play at some point. Man, we've come a long ways, dude. We've come a long ways with the internet.
Now, if the internet goes out at 1 o'clock or midnight for maintenance around here, Spectrum, I like Spidey sense tingles and nose, and I wake up in the mid-sleep sweating.
Dude, my entire house shuts down when the internet goes off. I mean, everything is offline. The garage door, everything is offline.
Oh, that's
house.
wild.
I rely way too much on the internet.
Yeah.
You ever get hit with an EMP grenade or an EMP attack? Fucked. This house would be fucking useless.
I did buy a Blink camera to hook up through Amazon too, just so I had something to like, because I'm in the basement so much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
It's nice to see like if a package comes or somebody shows up at the front door. But
I have emergency, man. We're getting a lot of truths out here right now from our audience.
I had some emergency DVD porn as well too, but I actually recently gave that away as a gift to Half-Ass Beer Review, and he did reveal that he did find it.
He did find it in there?
Yeah, and he was a little disturbed, like I hoped he would be. So.
Man, okay. Well, I know this conversation could go a lot of different ways.
Woo!
But let's get going. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to start off with a couple movie reviews. First up.
That's right, JL.
What show are we watching? We're watching Banter and Babble, man. Now we're going to get back to the pop culture stuff.
We're in the babble right now.
And we'll save all the online shenanigan conversations for the B&B Discord. So if you're not in there, make sure you get in there. But Tone, this past weekend, we went to go check out Monkey Man.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this movie started making a little bit of noise. It is. Fallout series is up right now, and it pissed me off when they were like, hey, we're going to launch it a day early. I'm like, you motherfuckers. So I'm going to try to hustle through the show and maybe catch the first episode tonight. But yes, all episodes of Fallout are available now on Amazon Prime.
Oh, they're not doing episodic?
They're all out tonight. Everything's out. So I'm binging it this weekend. Everything is out. So really excited to check that out this weekend.
Dangerous.
It reviewed incredibly well, which is really great to see. And the 3 things I've seen most consistently in the reviews are things I wanted to hear. Dark humor, ultra violent, and Walton Goggins just fucking crushes it. I mean, that doesn't say, holy shit, this is amazing. I don't know what else does. So
I want to hear.
Don't know anything about the Fallout games, so it'll be interesting for me. Well, you're
in for a treat then in that sense.
Because the show doesn't have any like continuation from any of the stories. It's just something. Fallout takes place in a world where you could have hundreds of vaults in the world, and so you could really just build anywhere.
A lot of fluidity they can do.
A lot of they can take a lot of liberties with the story, and as long as they can fit it into this universe, I think it looks fucking rad, man. Like I'm really excited for that. So we'll be watching that this weekend and talking about it next week, hopefully. But yeah, it looks really good. But Tom, back to Monkey Man. This came out at the Southwest Film Festival about a month ago. A lot of buzz from the audience there. Dev Patel, the director, writer, and star of this movie, this gentleman right here, received a standing ovation for 5 minutes after the movie aired. And so there was a lot of buzz. And then we watched the trailer for it, and we're just like, oh, man, this looks fucking dope. And a lot of the comparisons people were making is like, this is like John Wick meets The Raid. And I remember I told you that. I was just like, is there a better combination? Mm-hmm. John Wick and The Raid. I was like, okay, dude, so we're going to go check it out. And Tone, we went into this movie with certain expectations because of the comparisons and the things, the buzz that was drumming up for this movie. And I think we came out even more impressed than we were going in.
Yeah, I'd say it exceeded for sure.
But Tone, I want to come to you first, but I want to get your thoughts, like initial reaction and like overall thoughts of Monkey Man.
I truly believe this is going to be a tough movie, personally for me, to beat what potentially could be GOAT.
Oh.
Or GOAT. Well, a GOAT. Or what is it? Movie of the year or whatever that.
Yeah.
I say that because I know the type of movies especially that I like. You know, it's all subjective, right? Mm-hmm. I love movies. I love Raid. I grew up on martial arts style movies. I love the John Wick films. And Dev and we watched him after we got home that night and watched an interview with him.
Yep.
And not only is he absolutely kind and humble, it blows my mind, but he was like, basically he said that he grew up watching Bruce Lee films.
Yep.
He took inspiration from The Raid and things like that as well too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this exuded that type of action, that type of storytelling. But what surprised me and blew me away more about this movie, and again, I it's going to get a lot of John Wick comparisons, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
This tells such a deeply layered, heartfelt, intelligent story that I didn't expect coming out of this movie, and just going like, what the fuck? And like to the point where I was thinking about it for days after, being like, I need to see this movie again. Like, because there's a lot to dissect, because surface level,
typical revenge film.
It's a revenge film.
Yeah.
And there's some like cool little quirks and things like that and stuff. But when you start peeling back the layers and the things that he's highlighting and how he's able to take a character and how he grows that character that he's playing as well too, it's unlike some of the other films I think I've seen recently. And I can't tell everybody like enough about this. Like, this movie was moving in some ways.
Oh yeah.
Like, it really made you think. I didn't expect that. And then you get into like some of the cinematography that was going on in there, like like crisp, fresh, unique, like
kind of like an artsy feel, which is different for a movie like this.
Even as simple, the one I always go back to is the most simple. Was when he's going down the flight of stairs and fighting down the flight of stairs, and they literally put a camera behind what looks like a break here glass.
Yeah.
And like for some reason, it just felt like it made you feel like you were in the film.
Yeah.
Like that's what was crazy about the cinematography. It made you feel like you were part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and then again, you come with some of these crazy storylines and how, like, you know, we always talk about how you got to be careful with time jumping and telling stories also from backwards. Yep. It's very tricky to do. You know, it's because like you can come off and just it doesn't make any sense, or you get confused or whatever. This did it in such a great way that it's almost like, again, as the character's growing and learning and like working through the trauma that this character dealt with, you know, if you close your eyes, it's almost like you're sitting there talking to a therapist or something about it as he's working through these things.
Yep.
And the person that's helping him through that stuff. Y'all listen, we watch a lot of movies. I watch a lot of bullshit movies. We all know Waterworld is one of the best movies of all time. But I'm telling you right now, this film is absolutely a fucking masterpiece. And we've seen some great films, even just doing this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a film that I absolutely want to see again. I can't wait to see again. I want to know when it's going to be on digital. I want to know if I'm going to have time to go see it again in the theaters, which I probably won't. Mm-hmm. But my God, like, if you like, even if you just want to see a good action film, you're good.
Oh, base level action,
you're good.
You get what you want out of it.
You're good, and it's fine.
Yep.
If you like a little substance and you want to dig deep and you want to even be a little introspective and kind of like almost like take on that point of view and feel like you're part of it, and then even sit there and think like, well, you know, reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
This movie can do that for you.
Yeah. No, it's a really, really good film. Dev Patel, who wrote, directed, and stars in this movie, shows once again. I mean, he showed it in several movies. He showed it in Slumdog Millionaire that he's a very talented actor who has incredible range, very athletic. Obviously, he performed a lot of his own stunts in this movie and a lot of the fight scenes. And he was able to carry this movie with an emotionally charged performance. Like, he is just incredibly convincing in this movie. But at the same time, he also knows how to direct action with a very deft hand. Like, this was very fluid, and the thing, and I mentioned it to you earlier, the thing that I liked about the action in this movie is there are a few guns here and there, but this is mostly martial combat.
This is
martial arts combat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I always feel like, guns and stuff, and it's obviously exciting and explosions and all that shit, but like when you're going hand-to-hand combat and you're in there choking people
primal.
out, and I mean, that is, it's primal.
Raw.
And it's the most basic level combat, or the most primitive version of combat, and it's just like so much more intense when you watch that kind of thing. And it all depends on how it's filmed and how it's choreographed. Everything very convincing and very well done in this movie. I mean, the cinematographer Sherelle Mir deserves a lot of credit for the way that he sets up many scenes, and he uses lighting, and he uses, like I said, it's kind of like an art house approach to action.
It is. It really is.
He uses the environment around there to kind of like as a canvas for this action in very, very good ways. And then also the composer Jed Kurzel, thumping soundtrack. I mean, it complements every scene, whether it's a somber, emotional scene or we're digging into the action. It's just a very, very good soundtrack that complements everything else with this film. That's just really, really well
There
done.
was a scene in there where there was a fight scene instead of the normal like hip hop banging and bass.
Yeah.
And they remember playing like the harp or something crazy.
Yes.
And I looked over and said, "This is brilliant! Like this is brilliant how this
It's
is
wild,
working."
man. Yeah, it's wild. And like the comparisons to John Wick, I think those are apt. But like Tone mentioned, I mean, there's so many more layers to it, and the way that obviously John Wick was triggered with his dog was killed, the dog that was given to him by his wife who passed away, and he get a little bit of emotion there. And I really that's what I loved about the first John Wick, is you really got to see that human side of John Wick. But like with this one, there's much more there. It's not just about getting revenge for his mom and others that have been like kind of like that were basically just killed by a military that was run by like the elite fucking scumbags of this city. And so like, and this happened to him at a young age. And so he's dealing with that trauma. He's trying to find some fucking purpose in this shit world. And the way that they explore that, and you kind of watch his character arc go from like, there was a quote in the movie that was fucking dope. He goes, "You've been spending your whole life looking for pain.
Now you need to
find purpose." And the way that they use that, the mythology of the Hindu deity is Humanan. And the way that they use his story in conjunction with Dev Patel's character's story is really, really fucking awesome. And it really shows that, he's looking for more than just revenge. Like, he wants to be a beacon of hope for a city that's been basically just like stomped on by the rich elite. And so like the way they explore that stuff and use that as his motivation, I thought that was just, like I said, it adds layers and it adds depth to the character. But man, like, don't let that fool you. This is a fucking kick-ass action movie that people get the shit kicked out of them. There's some pretty grisly deaths. I mean, it was just an overall just really entertaining film. It's very difficult to go into a full-on action movie that's been compared to John Wick and The Raid and then still be able to present a story. An emotionally charged story that people can be invested in and still get the payoff you're looking for.
And a bit of a social piece too.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. There's going to be some people who aren't going to like the social elements of it, but they do explore a lot of things. And he mentioned it. That this movie is an anthem for, I think, the voiceless, the marginalized. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he let you know right away. Look, I'm going to do this for the people of the city or in my country and whatnot, and I have to respect that. I have to respect that. But overall, entertaining flick from start to finish. And Dev Patel shows again that not only is he a fucking great actor, but he's a great director as well. So I want to get you guys and girls' thoughts, man. And if you've gone out to check out Monkey Man, that's the only thing, dude. It didn't do particularly great at the box office, which is weird because it seriously generated so much buzz. But it didn't make a lot of money. I think it only made like $10 million. It finished behind. I think it and the first Omen just got blown up by Kong again. I think Kong ran away with this weekend, so it was difficult for her to go out there and succeed. So I would expect it to be on digital sooner rather than later. But if you did get out to check out Monkey Man, let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your thoughts. I feel like this is a movie that's going to be somewhat divisive. If I remember correctly, oh God, what was the Rotten score? Was like in the 70s, so it did go there. But I think the audience score was in the 70s too. I don't think it was super high. So I mean, there is going to be some divisiveness there. But overall, I just thought it was a fucking dope flick.
Which I get, and I feel like that comes again from the comparisons to John Wick. Like, I love John Wick films, but like story-wise, outside of the first, and even the first, like, it's pretty much is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, they don't dive into his character having real true growth or like being introspective and
He's
thinking
just trying to get out of the biz.
Right. Whereas this movie, I can see it being a turnoff for folks. Like, some people just want a certain popcorn flick.
They want to turn off their brain and just go in and see
that's
action,
fine,
which is good.
But and you can do that with this movie. But this movie also, like, it's gonna throw some thinking shit at you as well too, and maybe get you thinking a little bit about yourself. Maybe, I don't know, but like that's what I appreciated about it. Like, there's something to be said about a movie that just kind of exudes its first glance genre or whatever it is, and as well too. And yeah, the she did mention that he did break his finger.
He got fucked up making this movie.
Yeah. So we're all definitely excited to see this career for sure take off. So like Mythical Man on Fire and Wick.
I mean, I don't know about mythical, but just like I think Tone said it best.
I think he's probably coming from like the hominin.
Yeah, the hominin stuff when
I
they
can
went
see what
down
you're
there. I
saying,
mean, there is they definitely explore some myths, and they use the myth of Humanon as kind of like this map for his character to grow.
Yeah, it was definitely it was neat how they wove that into from when he was a boy.
Really cool. Yeah,
like I'm telling you, Josie, I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I hope people enjoy it. I hope they go out and check it out. And if you do, let us know in the comments below what you thought of Monkey Man, because I really want to I feel like it's one of those movies that if you do stop to think about a little bit more, there's more you can take away from it.
Yeah.
But a base level action movie, awesome. But if you're looking for something a little bit deeper, you get that as well.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, what up, Miz?
What's going on, Miz? All right, dude. Moving on to our next movie review. This movie, we saw a trailer for this about, I think it was 2 months ago. We kind of stumbled across, and we were just like, oh, this actually looks pretty good. It's called Lovely, Dark, and Deep. It's written and directed by Teresa Sutherland, and it stars Georgina Campbell, who was in Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, I think Barbina. I think Georgina Campbell is a really talented actress. I think she's going to be an up-and-comer. I think she's got a bright future ahead of her. And when we saw the trailer for this, man, we were kind of eerie. Like, she's a park ranger, and the story revolves around like the story of the hundreds of thousands of stories about people missing in our national parks, how they just disappear. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of explore that. And we saw that in the trailer, like, oh, this could be kind of creepy. Right. And they mentioned a lot of things, like it's a cosmic kind of horror movie with some cosmic elements. So I was like, oh man, this could be fucking creepy. And there was some weird imagery in that fucking trailer. That one face where the hair is all bloody and it's up in the air. I remember that shot. I was just like, ooh, that's fucking creepy. And so this dropped on VOD this week, or it might have been last week, $9.99. And I was like, dude, we got to check this out. We got to check it out. And we ended up watching it. And, Tone, from a production standpoint, I think this is a really well done movie.
Yes.
The scenery it's beautiful. It's a national park, so you get a lot of great shots, the cinematography is really well done. They use clever use of lighting in the dark with the moon and all that stuff. I mean, it's a good looking film.
Yeah.
And there are some legitimately creepy moments.
Yes.
The audio is really good. The soundtrack is really good.
Very good.
It's a very immersive setting for a movie. And again, very creepy. So I was like, okay, I'm into this. And it is a slow burn at first. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with building up to whatever this is leading to. But like, other than the production though, it's a slow burn that doesn't really go anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, by all accounts, with the exception to a few scenes, this is mostly Georgina Campbell's movie to carry. She has to carry this movie. This is her performance. And like, she does a really good job with it, but I also feel like you don't get to see her best stuff until like the final act. Mm-hmm. And when you go into a movie like this where her character, when she takes this job, she's kind of got like a mysterious past. And you kind of get little tidbits along the way of like what happened and her sister and something that happens to her in the woods, and you're still trying to figure out like, did she do something, or you're trying. And I'm cool with that. I love when a story has a mysterious character. Like, is this a protagonist, or is she really an antagonist? Or,
right.
But at the same time, I want to find a way to relate to her. I want her to resonate with me in some way. You can resonate with a villain sometimes if they have a story, if that's like, oh man, I can understand
what drove them to that
point. And I was looking for that. I was like, man, I really want to be able to relate to this character one way or the other.
Sure.
And by the time you get to the final act, the big, kind of a big reveal of what's going on, and more importantly, like you're kind of trying to figure out what is the malevolent force that's causing these people to disappear and what's putting her through this just fucking weird, like, cosmic situation. All this stuff's going on, and I'm just like, okay, I want to know what's this? What is this force? And when you get to the finish, when you get to the ending, you get the type of ending that I've grown to appreciate lately is like you don't get a happy ending for this character. Mm-mm. It's kind of a downer ending, and you're just like, oh man, that kind of sucks. And it probably would have been a much clever ending if I would have understood more about the reason it's all happening. Mm-hmm. You don't get any like clear explanation as to what is going on, why people are disappearing. I mean, you get a little bit hints in there, but it's not enough to be like, oh, shit. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I was like, okay, cool. I mean, I get it. It's a shitty ending for a character, and that sucks that she's going to have to do this for a while. But it's just, at the same time, you're just like, I really wanted to know what the fucking malevolent force was behind everything.
Yeah, you didn't really get an explanation. I think that I understand, and I know Brittany's going to go with this as well, too. She liked it a lot better than us. Because I do feel like I understand what they were trying to go for, especially with cosmic horror, because true like cosmic horror is really not on the nose. It's really the insanity that drives you from the question of what's
real. Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? Which is great, and they were trying to do that. However, when you're trying to do that in a movie, you have to still give the audience something to feel. I need a little bit of payoff. I need just something, whether it's a little bit more visual, a little bit more explanation, even if it's a couple sentences, something. Because, like, listen, the concept and the thought, I grew up in the woods, you know what I mean? So, like, there is a level of, like, unspoken creepiness living in the fucking country, right? You know what I mean? I get it. And this was really teetering a lot of that, and I can appreciate that. Like you said, it looked great. Yeah. The movie was actually a gorgeous film. I mean, you're literally in a national park, right? So it's awesome.
Awesome.
And even like the fact that there was things almost speaking to her was really awesome too. But like they were trying to hint and allude to, like, with the cinematography, like almost like in Stranger Things, the upside down and different things as well too.
Yeah.
But it was just like fucking breadcrumbs, and you'd thinking, okay, I'm gonna follow these breadcrumbs, I'm gonna get something, and then they turned and walked away from it. Which, again, if done well, that's fine to a certain degree, but there has to be something for us to be able to get, because for me to be consistently creepy, it's not always just going to be about the visuals and things of that nature. I want to know a little bit more, especially when you're teetering like potentially cosmic. We don't know. I mean, they allude to it. They kind of say
literally the only thing we get is multiple people saying they.
Right, like
they took them. They did this, and it's like, who the fuck is they?
Right, like there's like, it's almost like you get like Blair Witch vibes in some weird ways as well too. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, because like, is it what is it? Like, people are freaking out. Like, are they freaking out because they're just freaking out? Like, is something making them freak out? You know what I mean? Like, different things. Like, so I get why they were doing that, but like at the same time, like for me to come away from this, I needed just a little bit more, just a little bit more, because listen, it almost felt like it was too short, which is weird for us to say.
It's like 86 minutes. And I mean, you can do an 86-minute horror film,
right,
and be effective at storytelling, but like this, like you said, it's just kind of like
it built so slow and took so long that, you know, it didn't really get to where I felt like it needed to, for me to go, oh wow. Like, even the ending, I like the ending.
I'm gonna read your comment in a minute, Britt. Hang on.
Yeah, totally gonna read that. But I walked away from that being like, you know, for me, like, I mean, I could literally say, go to my mom's. It's gonna be midnight. Yeah. Walk a mile straight through the woods.
No,
you're gonna right. That's gonna creep you. No, you're gonna hear things you're not used to. It's gonna creep you out. That's creepy, right? Yeah. This movie did that as well too, but like that's all it was. It was almost very simple creepy. Like, for me to like actually, like, if you're walking through woods like that and you're hearing something, you almost want to see something pop out. Red eye goes, go boo. You know what I mean? It's scary. This didn't really do that, and like, I don't want everything to always be on the nose, but like I still felt like I needed more because they were getting so close.
Yeah. That's where I'm in agreement with you, man. Like I don't mind something that's open to interpretation. I don't mind that at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when I don't have any breadcrumbs at all to start kind of like piece things together or offer a different perspective on things, it's very difficult to have that conversation. The movie's a slow burn. And then the final act is actually really good. Like
some neat stuff
when things get really fucking weird, I was like, okay, I'm on board.
But that wasn't explained.
But then, boom, we're at the end, and like, okay, downer ending, which I fucking dig. I love a downer ending. I do ever since Hereditary. I'm like, I'm cool if the fucking hero or the protagonist doesn't get the fucking outcome that we're all hoping they get. I'm fine with that. But Britt says, I kind of think that was intentional. I think because of the people who really go missing and the mystery behind why, they weren't trying to give you a black and white answer as to what was behind it. For the entity to alter your reality and stuff was absolutely terrifying. I agree 1,000% with that it was terrifying, the ability that it had, but I don't need a black and white answer, but I need to have enough like breadcrumbs there to be like, okay, here's what I thought happened. I didn't have any of that. I couldn't watch that movie again and be like, oh, I wonder if, I mean, it was just like, it's creepy, it's creepy, it's creepy. Oh yeah, that's fucking creepy. Here comes the cosmic shit. Oh, that's creepy. And then ending. It was just like, fuck, wait.
Yeah. So you're going mad.
I need more.
What's making you mad? Like, what's making these people mad a little bit? Like, because like she, at the end when she's in like, her almost like her mind, she's battling herself or whatever it is. Well, I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, it's creepy. I mean, dude, her listening to the true crime audio, and like what they're talking about, like happening around bodies of water and stuff, and everything they get into. I was like, man, this is fucking creepy.
Right.
But there's just not enough there to get me to be like, I think I know what it was.
Yeah.
It's just like I didn't get that, and it's just like it bums me out because like I'm sure there's a really good idea here. There's probably a really good idea. I just didn't know what it was. And maybe that's, like I said, maybe I'm just too fucking stupid to understand it. That's a very possible thing.
Yeah.
But I like to be able, again, I don't mind when something is left open for interpretation. I don't need it on the nose. But I just need something to like work with.
I always go back to Inception on that. When you get to the ending of Inception and you see his totem spinning, and then all of a sudden it starts to wobble, and everybody's thinking like, okay, is this real or is it not?
Right.
Like, it was just enough to make you think and debate it for a long time, whereas this one doesn't give you enough clues to get to that point to where you're like, well, is she just fucking crazy or not?
Yeah.
Like, or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know.
Right.
Like, they want you to think certain way because she's having a conversation with her boss at one point, and clearly everybody's in on it. But like, okay, so is it old? Is it natural here?
Is it alien?
Is it anything? And we never get any sort of little bit of payoff. And that's all we're saying, I think, is that we just need a little bit of that payoff.
I honestly, I don't regret watching the movie. I think it goes by pretty quick. Like it's 86 minutes, and it's cool. It's just I just feel like it's a little shallow. It could have gone a little bit deeper in some of the other stuff.
Funny, the water part. No, you're a funny guy.
That wasn't on purpose, but I'm going to say it was on purpose because then it sounds smart. Brittany also said, I guess I just view it as an entity or something very ancient that maybe the park rangers don't. And I agree. I don't think the park rangers understand, but I do think they understand their role once they get to a certain point. They understand what their role is. But I wanted to know what that fucking entity was. Just a little bit more. Just so I can be like, okay, here's what I think it is.
Or is it even really an entity? I mean,
or is she just fucking nuts? I mean, who knows? Is this like a weird cult and they all drank the Kool-Aid? I don't know.
Exactly. We don't know.
I feel like if this were a book with more details, it probably would have been great as a book. Had this been a book and been like a 2.5 hour movie, probably would have been fucking even better.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think it's one of those movies where you're going to come away from it going, sophomore effort, shows potential. Like Teresa Sutherland shows potential, obviously, as a director and as a writer. But like, I want to see where she can go to next in terms of storytelling. I love cosmic horror. I think it's fucking awesome. But I need things to be explained just a little bit more.
Right, because even calling it cosmic horror is, I mean,
kind of a stretch.
Kind of. I mean, it's
there are some elements you're like, okay, there's cosmic horror.
Right. There's a lot of like the thought process of this whole thing is very Lovecraftian, but like even in that too, like you still get more, I feel like, and we just didn't get enough. That's all. So, anyways.
But no, we want to get you guys to go thoughts. I do think there is room for discussion on this. I just don't know if there's enough for a real big back and forth as to here's what I think it is or here's what I think it is. And I mean, again, if there is, if you have some insight on this, if you have some perspective, or if you're
lost in the woods,
or if you're just lost in the woods watching the show, let us know what you thought of Lovely, Dark, and Deep. I mean, it didn't review incredibly well. The audience score is kind of mixed, which
sounds like a porno.
It does sound like a porno, but like I said, everything about the movie, everything it has a lot of good things going for it. I just feel like the story could have been a little bit deeper. Yeah. Not deep, but deeper. So this should have been called Lovely, Dark, and Deep. Maybe that's the director's cut. Lovely, Dark, and Deeper. Yeah. Director's cut, 3 hours long.
Oh,
give me
3 more foot of water in the lake.
I mean, hey, whatever. Just give me more of an idea of what this entity is that's causing all these issues. But let us know in the comments below what you thought of Lovely, Dark, and Deep. We would love to get your thoughts and however the hell you interpreted the story. Yeah. Maybe I'm missing the point. I don't know.
Let us know.
But we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you.
All right, Tone. Time for trailers.
Trailer time.
And dude, we got some doozies this week.
Yeah, we do.
We got and I mean, there's probably going to be more tomorrow and the day after because CinemaCon's going on right now, and so everyone's dumping out their big trailers for the rest of the year. Any chance you guys eating hot dogs on stream tonight, asking for a friend? You never know.
One of these nights I might stop at Leo's and grab some conies.
Dude, I'm not gonna be mad if you do want to stop and get me some conies. Deal. I won't be fucking mad one bit.
$11, you get 2 conies, a fry, and a drink.
Kate, what's going on, girl?
Look who it is.
She
just in
made
time
it.
for some trailers.
What's going on, Kate? All right, Tone. So we have 3 trailers tonight. This first one, and I hate having to admit this.
Yeah.
I've seen X.
Yeah.
I have not seen the second one.
You've not seen Pearl?
I have not seen Pearl.
What the holy fuck,
I own
bro?
Pearl. I own Pearl, and I have not seen it yet. But this next trailer is for Maxine, the third and final film in Ty West's trilogy. By all accounts, from what I've been reading on social media, this trailer is fucking dope.
Cool. Okay.
Let's check out the trailer.
Haven't seen it yet.
For Maxine.
So, Maxine. Your agent tells us you're quite a popular name in adult film and entertainment. Is that correct? I'm curious, did you always want to be in that line of work?
I always wanted to be famous.
If you need to read off the sides we gave you, just go ahead, all right?
I know the lines.
She turns to the camera and, through her trauma, addresses the lens directly.
Name 5 celebrities who got their start in horror movies.
Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta, Demi Moore, Brooke Shields, and
Maxine fucking Mintz.
I don't like working out here with that freaking Night Stalker guy on the loose.
The Night Stalker.
Night Stalker?
Night Stalker.
He's terrorizing Los Angeles.
I can handle myself.
So said every bad girl in Hollywood.
Maxine, I'm the private detective. I had to find you. My employer is a very powerful man. The past ain't finished with you. It's gonna keep knocking at your door.
Tragically, another victim of the Night Stalker.
If I knew 3 people who were murdered in 3 days, I'd be pretty scared. What are you hiding, Maxine?
If I tell you something, we've got confidentiality.
What'd you do?
This is the defining role of your career.
Whatever's going on in your life that's interfering with this picture, squash it.
I intend to.
Maxine!
Maxine!
Maxine.
Maxine.
Maxine. Maxine.
You're a fucking movie star.
Fucking hell, Christ.
Dude,
yeah.
listen to this. Listen to this fucking cast, dude. Obviously, he's directed by Ty West. He's done X and Pearl, starring Mia Goth, who is Bae, Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Monaghan, Bobby Cannavale, Giancarlo Esposito, and Kevin fucking Bacon. That was a fucking dope-ass trailer. Now, I'm going to try to make it a point going forward, though, not to watch the trailers that we're going to show, unless it's something that I really want to see.
Yeah, we're trying.
And do a reaction. I haven't watched any of these trailers tonight. Halsey, yes. I mean, this was a fucking dope-ass trailer, dude. This looks fucking good. Anything that takes place in the 80s, I'm always going to be like, let's go.
Yeah, give me that soundtrack.
Give me that soundtrack. Give me that 80s vibe. I want the synth. I want the neon lights.
Cocaine.
I want all that shit. Cocaine. But a killer cast, dude. Now, Britt said Pearl was okay.
Pearl was
step back. Is it a step down from X?
I felt it was too. Yeah. I mean, I still enjoyed it, but yeah, it was definitely.
I heard Mia Goth's amazing in it. I
mean, she's absolutely excellent. Like, yeah. Don't get that mixed for sure. But yeah, I definitely think X was much better. Pork Chop, yeah, he thinks it's gonna be good as well too. Yeah, I know this is right up your alley probably too. So. Hell yeah,
Brian. The 80s was a decade 30 years before you were born. Yeah, Brian. The 80s were the greatest year, the greatest timeline. I mean, the 80s were fucking incredible. We had the best movies, the best music. Everything was awesome in the 80s. Best cocaine. We had the best coke. We had everything in the 80s, man. We had everything you and the little kids didn't ever have in the late 90s and early and the rest of the
Transformers,
way.
So. Masters Universe.
We had everything, dude. We had everything. But no, this comes out on July 4th, though. Now, A24, obviously, they put out a lot of great films, but for them to put this sucker on July 4th, they're very confident with this film. And judging by the trailer, that's a good-looking, confident trailer. I'm going to have to watch Pearl here pretty quick because I'm fucking really excited. That was a good trailer. I thought that was a really strong trailer, a very attractive cast. Everyone's just, like, really into that 80s vibe. Everyone's got that seedy 80s look going on, like a big city vibe. I think this looked fucking dope, man. I thought this looked really good.
I'm excited. Absolutely.
Are you hoping this is a good way to close out the trilogy for Ty West?
Yeah, and I think it's a good start doing what they're doing as well, too, for sure, just by looking at it.
I still remember when we went and saw X, and we were just like, this movie is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
X was fucking nuts. And then the way they teased Pearl, and then we got the trailer. But, yeah, we're going to get the final movie in Ty West's trilogy dropping on July 4th. Maxine. Jeff, what's going on, dude? Salute, sir. We are actually moving on to our next trailer, Jeff. Now, this trailer dropped last night. And, you know, you and I talked about this before the show. The movie Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was one of my favorite movies of the last, 20 years. It's a movie that I think is just so well done, and it's Joaquin Phoenix's performance that it's just, there's so many little bits and pieces of that movie where I'm just like, this guy is just fucking next level.
He's a different echelon.
Pound for pound, one of the best actors of my generation of watching movies. Like, he's just that fucking good. Jay Hill, Joker is a fucking, it's a masterpiece in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that didn't like it, but it's just fucking, it's an incredible film. So when they announced that, Todd Phillips announced that they are going to do a Joker sequel, which is something that Joaquin Phoenix typically does not do. He's not a huge fan of doing sequels. You and I were like, I don't know.
We said it right away, and we got receipts on it. You can check the videos. Like, we were like, because we said the same thing.
Do we need it?
Yeah, like, do we really need to do that? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes movies just have more impact if it just lays where it was.
That's where it's at, and be done with it. But you know what? Todd Phillips has shown that, he, like I said, I thought he did a great job directing Joker. And, if he wants to do a sequel and Joaquin Phoenix wants to sign up for it, I can't say no to that. I'm not going to be like, well, that's fucking stupid. I mean, clearly they have something in place that they're very confident with. So I have not watched this trailer yet. It just came out yesterday, so we're going to be watching it for the first time. Let's check out the trailer for. I can't even pronounce this movie. I just call it Joker 2. What is a folie à deux? Is it folie à deux?
You're close. I believe it's French.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was something I don't fucking speak. But anyways, let's check it out.
Let's go, boys. It's showtime. Wakey, wakey.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
We use music to make us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody. I haven't done anything with my life like you have.
Let's get out of here.
What the world needs now is a love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Tell us, what's changed, Arthur?
I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
I want to see the real you.
Interesting.
Half-ass said it correct as Lady Gaga is babe numero uno.
I mean, she is pretty talented, man. Gaga's Harley might be sick. No, I agree with you, Cuddles. Obviously, I think Lady Gaga is a really talented actress. She's very outside the box thinking type of person. She can get pretty fucking out there with some of her stuff. I love this casting. I think this trailer looked good. Again, as a full-blown musical, I mean, that's the way it's been described up to this point. I'll be curious to see, but like, look, man, I know, look, the first Joker movie, I thought Joaquin Phoenix's performance was so good, and there were multiple scenes with dialogue with other characters explaining like his childhood, and there was other ways to like view his personality and what he was dealing with growing up and why he was the way he was. And there were some intense scenes. There were some heart-wrenching scenes. It was just a very unique take on Joker, a character that by all accounts we sometimes with Mark Hamill, Jack Nicholson, and he thought that's all we ever knew. But you get this very different, distinct take on the character that focuses on like mental health and things of that nature. You look at this trailer, and I mean, it's just like at first. I remember when the first trailer for Joker came out, I was just like, I don't know, man. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is really good, but I mean, I don't know. I wasn't sure until I saw the movie. And I was like, oh, well, I get it now.
Yeah, I mean, Joker, again, I mean, we talked about it with Monkey Man earlier. It's another one of those movies where it's really layered. You kind of sometimes have to suspend your expectations to appreciate and understand sometimes art is just bigger and different than you. And that's kind of what the first one did. It had a lot of layers to it, a lot of messages. It had a lot of things that you kind of had to stop and go, oh man, like you said, there was some dialogue in there that was pretty fucking wild.
There's some hard hitting scenes in Joker, man. When they like I said, like
absolutely
that scene where he flashes back or he's reading the report from the hospital and it goes to that scene where his mom is talking about what happened to him. I was just like, man, that is so fucking sad. Like it's just like because there are kids that go through that type of treatment with their parents. So I was just watching. I was like, man, that is really some deep fucking shit, like hardship and like trauma, and you're just like, that's crazy. But it also it made you understand why he was the way he was and how he became what he became. But like this right here, like I said, Todd Phillips, I trust him. This is something I don't think he wasn't planning on doing a sequel until they could figure out what they wanted to do, unless they could do a story that made sense. And it took him a while to come up with something, and clearly he agreed. And to get Joaquin Phoenix on board, I mean, here's a guy who doesn't really necessarily give a shit about the paycheck. It's about his reputation, and it's about picking the right work. And so clearly there's something about that he like. You bring in somebody like Lady Gaga to go alongside with him, the perfect complement, another talented actress. You got two heavyweights there that have got some hardware between them. And you got Todd Phillips kind of doing his own thing.
Well, I mean, you know, Britt had said it was. She said that Folie à Deux or whatever.
She
it means shared madness. Basically.
Shared madness.
Because when you're watching this trailer, you're wondering because clearly, I mean, the first movie was a lot of highlighting about mental illness.
Yes.
Where it kind of takes you down the rabbit hole, and that's kind of where that character, you know, that version of that character went. Because you guys got to remember that the Joker character is an ever revolving door of who can play what. All Jokers have been different, right?
Yeah, they can all be different. Yeah,
and we've never really known a lot about necessarily their background. A couple times they try to explain this, that, and the other, but I digress. This is another like version of that, and it happens to be a little bit more grounded in reality, and that's kind of what they're going with this. And that's what the first movie did, was really kind of highlight mental illness and what trauma can do to somebody. And so when you're watching this trailer and you're seeing him and Gaga and we're hearing Shared Madness, right? Like half that trailer that we're seeing probably wasn't even fucking real. It was all in their fucking head, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which also makes it interesting because we're going to see how they kind of play back and forth with that as well too. Because Shared Madness, like, are they literally envisioning the same shit at the same time? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty interesting to think about. So no, I definitely, I'm definitely curious on it. I like I said, I enjoyed the first one a lot. So with the heavy hitters involved here, it's definitely something high on my list.
There were so many parts in that first movie where I was like, this motherfucker's dead, and he's like, this is like his.
There were a lot of clues to make you kind of wonder.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that refrigerator scene is the one that I'm still like, dude, there's no way he gets out of that refrigerator. It's a hitch. It's a hitch refrigerator. You don't get out of it. Yeah. Once you go inside that thing and it shuts behind you, you're dead unless somebody lets you out. And then in that movie, his life, things don't start working out for him in a glorious way until after he goes in the refrigerator.
Right.
So I was like, dude, he went into that refrigerator and he fucking died. And those are his final memories of like, oh, everything worked out great. I get to go on Murray's show.
Right.
And then I fucking kill Murray and the world is changing because of me and what I represent. It was just like his hubris took over and he started imagining stuff. So I'm still of the mind that he fucking died in that refrigerator. And I mean, I know there's a lot of different ways to take it, but it was just like, man. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see. I'm obviously going to go see this fucking movie. I think it's a great looking trailer, a great cast. Todd Phillips is showing that he knows how to do this stuff. But man, as a full on musical and things of that nature, I mean, again, just another big risk. But
I mean,
with the people involved, these people take risks. And you know what? Fuck it. When was the last time Hollywood seriously really embraced the risk taking stuff?
I mean, that's I think something that we sometimes also forget is that, we get into the mundane. We start looking at these movies. We start being okay with movies going from like great gritty written stories to just being like, as somebody who loves the MCU, like sometimes copy and paste. Sometimes there's not a lot of divergence into some form of risk taking, So like when something like this comes along that does say, hey, this is outside the norm, we're taking a risk. Well, that's more quizzical for me. I'm interested in that. I want to see what we're doing now. Is it going to work out? I don't know. Musicals definitely. I am not fan of musicals by nature.
Did you ever see La La Land? Is that what it was with? I haven't seen it, but I heard it's fucking awesome.
I am not somebody who really gets into.
See, I'll watch Grease, man. I'll watch fucking Grease.
I won't do Grease.
Are you?
I don't like Grease. No.
Really?
Absolutely not. No, I'm not a fan. I don't.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
okay.
and there's like I said, there's very few that I do like. I like oddly, I like Moulin Rouge, but I mean, like I said,
I'm really bothered by the Grease thing.
No,
Jesus,
I don't really like. No, it's kind of dumb to me, but I get why people like me. I guess I get like people musicals. I don't fucking know.
I have now opened interviews for a new co-host.
Well, if you're gonna die,
Jesus. What if he didn't die and is whacked out in a coma in the opening of the second one, the musical? I mean, dude, there's a lot of ways.
Just it.
There's a lot of ways, man. A lot of ways to interpret it. I think Blanco, that's a great idea. I like Across the Universe. Nicole Kidman kills in that. Was that Moulin Rouge?
You're talking about Moulin, yeah.
Chicago is good. That's what Richard Gere heard. That's really good. Man, I mean, there's
musicals are tough sell for me. Big time.
That's wild, dude. Man, fucking Grease. That's.
But again, like I'm because
Rock
of
the
first one, I'm definitely definitely curious. So
yeah, so we'll see. Let us know your guys' real thoughts if you checked out the
Seems
trailer.
Like it's a mix out there. Some people
what are you
aren't feeling
expecting?
it.
Do you have high expectations? Are you concerned? Me, I'm going in I'm going in openly optimistic. I'm not cautious. I'm openly optimistic that look, it might be weird, it might be out there, but the people involved, I don't think they'd be here if they didn't think they'd have something really good for us.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right, Tom, we're going on to our final trailer. This is something I've been really excited about since they first revealed it. I'm not too excited about the shit that came out after this reveal, and we'll talk about that a little bit after we watch the trailer, but let's check out the trailer for Ubisoft's, your favorite publisher.
Yeah.
Star Wars
20 years ago.
Outlaws, the story trailer. This is not gameplay. This is story trailer. Let's check it out.
Each of you represent some of the most powerful criminal organizations in the galaxy. Pikes, Crimson Dawn, Huts. It's a golden age for the underworld. The Empire controls every corner of the galaxy, but they're distracted by a rebellion that won't quit. It's an opportunity to make millions.
Kay Vess, the underworld's favorite new scoundrel. We meet at last.
What do you want?
Zarek Besh. They're new, rich, and lethal. You crossed their boss Sliro, and now he wants you gone. Rob his fortune and buy your freedom.
This job, it's a death wish. I'm in.
Out here, you live and die by your reputation. You want to survive? Know the players.
You're new to this world.
What's your problem?
Come back when you're not.
Jabba, right? Look, don't try anything. I got a whole crew surrounding the... Okay, we're skipping that part.
For about as long as I can remember, it's just been me and Nix. Doing what we have to survive. This job is my one shot at freedom. But if we're gonna pull this off, we need the right crew. And the right ship. Yes! Hang on.
I hire you because you are one of the best hunters in the Outer Rim.
She's more connected than you let on, Sliro. Vess is mixed up in something bigger.
The Outer Rim is a dangerous place. Everyone is fighting for their piece of the galaxy. But all I want is to live free. So I'm gonna risk it all. Hold on, Nick!
Star Wars Outlaws, pre-order available now.
All right. Tone, you are our resident Star Wars guru. I'll be kind of curious. Like, look, I remember when they first revealed this game, they actually had some gameplay. They showed some stealth elements, and I was like, okay, cool. I like some stealth. Ubisoft knows stealth. They've done Splinter Cell. They've done Assassin's Creed, so they understand stealth. This is developed by Massive Entertainment. They are behind Tom Clancy's Division, that latest Avatar game, which I know there are people out there that really enjoy that game. But I didn't think this was a bad try. Hey, man, anytime I get a scoundrel character that isn't Han Solo, you pique my interest.
Really? Couldn't tell. Thought that was Han Solo for a minute.
I get, and I understand that comparison, but at least I'm not calling him Han Solo. Yeah. I'm getting somebody else. But again, I don't understand. I don't appreciate everything Star Wars as much as you do. Like I said, I'm a more tunnel vision guy. Yeah. But I want to get your thoughts, dude. Your thoughts on this trailer. Not so much the pricing and stuff. We'll talk about in a minute, but the story trailer itself.
I think it looks like there's potential to have some fun here, like no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got all the Star Wars tropes you want. It's Galactic Civil Era.
Yep.
But when I hear things like Outer Rim and I see Tatooine again, and I see like
that's what I was wondering.
A character that looks copy paste of Han Solo, like then fucking give us Han Solo as a character then.
Right.
Like, if you're going to literally model the character after Han Solo, then give us Han Solo. I don't fucking know. Like, I want original characters. Don't get me wrong.
Right, yeah.
That's one of the things I've been complaining about when it comes to Star Wars. So it's great we got original character, but what do? They fall back on it and make it look like the character be like Han Solo. Like, it's so fucking on the nose. And the ship that they give you, like, oh, we need a cool ship. Well, the ship looked like a fucking box with fucking little rockets on it. Like, you know what I mean? And this is all nitpicky shit, but it's because, like, for fuck's sake, like, why can't we just get Star Wars product out there that people fucking want, that the fans fucking want?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we wanted. And I know it's hard to do because, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of the fandom's toxic, and I sound
it's probably
like
hard to deviate from the shit that the fans expect.
Right, and it's hard to decipher through me because I sound like I'm triggered. I'm just chilling. I'm sitting at like a fucking 7 right now. I'm always at like a 7, so it's all good. I'm not even like that worked up yet. I will the next couple screens here. But,
I know you will.
But like all I'm saying is like, I don't know who sits down and says, man, we need to come up with an original story. Oh, good places to start. We'll be back on fucking Tatooine. We've been since 1978.
That's the one thing that when I saw the description that they're gonna be on Tatooine, I was like, dude, I'm not even joking. I saw it and I go, Tone's gonna be pissed about that.
Yeah, like what?
Look, I love Tatooine. Yeah. It's awesome. Can we find how many fucking other planets are there in this universe?
It's a fucking galaxy, so you have literally millions of fucking planets.
You could make a planet that looks like Tatooine and just call it something else. I'd be like, cool.
Yeah, they did. It was called Jakku, and Rey was on it, so it's real neat.
It's true.
Real on the fucking nose, wasn't it? I just don't understand that mentality on some of those things. Yeah, even Jeddah. Yeah, Jeddah too as well. I like that the Merc droid from like the Clone Wars era. Yeah. What's going on with that character. I think that's really neat and unique. It's almost like that should be the main character as well too. Because listen, I'm curious about the main protagonists, and what's going on there. But like they're all they're literally doing is exactly the same thing Disney's been doing. Not wanting to give and complaining about the stuff they didn't have control of prior.
Yep.
And then they always turn around. What do? They make it seem similar to it because you guys can't come up with something fucking different. Like, I don't know if it's Disney on that one. I don't know if it's Ubisoft. Like, listen, hearing Ubisoft alone makes me fucking go,
red flags.
Sweet.
Red flags.
Sweet.
Which is a shame because, years ago, I used to look at Ubisoft and think, they got their shit together, man. The Ghost Recon games were fucking dope. Rainbow Six Siege Vegas.
They were
Splinter
the guys.
Cell.
They were the guys.
understood shit, man.
Yep.
They had it figured out, and they didn't do the bullshit that we're going to talk about now. But overall, I thought the trailer was decent. I didn't mind it. I didn't have any major qualms with it.
It had some life. It was effective.
And I remember the trailer that they showed when they reviewed it. The gameplay was like, okay, man, I can get down with this. There's some stealth elements to it. You don't have to go in guns blazing or blasters blazing or whatever. I was like, okay, I'm cool with this. I'm interested in it, but
right.
Tone, we got to talk about
the graphics, yeah, because it was very subpar.
Well, the graphics, like I didn't think it was terrible, but for a next gen game, and I don't know if this is coming. I should have looked this up, and I don't know if anyone can look it up whether or not this is hitting last gen systems. Is this PS4 and Xbox One?
I would assume not, but I feel like
is this current gen only?
We're halfway through the current gen, and
if it's current gen only, then I have some small concerns.
We've seen where the bar is hit, and yes, Jeff, I do want to point out real quick. I don't hear that name too often. Cade Skywalker aired stuff would be great, but it's also EU, so it does not exist under Disney banner. But Cade Skywalker and Legacy of Star Wars is some of the best Star Wars content out there that hardly anybody knows about.
If somebody could check really, it says current gen only. So current gen only. This is running on PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Mm-hmm. I guess I would have. Yeah, that's true. What's it called? The drop system? Is it Dewdrop or what's this?
I think it's called Outdate System.
That might be what it is. But it's some drop system they've been using since for a while. Turd drop. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Blanco. But look, man, I like Massive Entertainment. I think they do I think they're good developers. The Division wasn't for me because it just didn't have that. It didn't give me the FOMO like Destiny did. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was a fun world to explore, and I thought it was a good looking game. I thought Division was a beautiful looking game.
A lot of hours in both, for sure.
But you look at you look at this trailer, and I do feel like the visuals are a little underwhelming. And I remember Draston mentioned that earlier, and he was like, hey, maybe it's an older build, but this game comes out in 4 months. It comes out on August 30th.
If you pre-order it today, you get it next week, I heard.
Yeah. This is 4 months out. So basically what we're looking at here is we're looking at probably final build quality. I always hate it when people are like, oh, well, they're running a beta and it might be different. Every time I played a fucking beta, that game looks pretty similar to what it did in beta. So, what you're seeing now is pretty much what we can expect at launch on current gen systems and probably PC. Man, can you imagine if what we saw here was PC build and console version is watered down because of the system specs? How shitty that would look. Ugh. But Tone, that wasn't what triggered most people. I know the trailer has been somewhat divisive a little bit here and there, but then we get into the Ubisoft business side of things. Now, look, Ubisoft is no stranger to their gold editions, their silver editions, their ultimate editions, and the base version. They've been doing this for a while now. But Tone,
they're the ones that really kind of started it too.
They did, and they've gotten out of control with it. This is okay. So the gold edition, well, the base version of this game, if you want it on August 30th, can somebody check this? Can somebody check right now what day August 30th is? Is it a Friday or is it a Tuesday? If somebody could check August 30th, Friday or Tuesday, I need to know something first.
Yeah.
But the base version of this game is $69.99. Blanco. It's a Friday. Okay, August 30th is a Friday. Okay, it's a Friday. The base version of this game is $69.99. Pretty much what the norm now. But the gold edition is $109.99. It offers 3-day early access on August 27th, which is a Tuesday, as well as the game's season pass for DLC. 109 is a lot for a season pass, but it's only two. I guess it's like 2 DLC stories. Now, how extensive these stories are remains to be seen. The Ultimate Edition for this game, Tone?
Typical pricing for this as well.
$130. It includes the 3 days early access, the season pass, including 2 upcoming story packs, the Ultimate Pack, which has some other shit involved in there. Like Draston said, the always irrelevant digital art book for $130.
Who the fuck goes, oh, man, I can't wait to get that digital art book.
Dude, like, look, man, I love looking at artwork, but every time I bought in the collector's or like a digital edition just to get early access because it's a game that I really want to play early, I've never once looked at I don't even download the fucking digital book.
If I want to check out some fucking digital artwork, I'll take a picture of my fucking nuts and send it to you.
But here's the thing, dude. Like,
this
is why this is what irritates me about this.
Yeah, Blanco.
First of all, it's $130. Blanco, it's 2 games. Like he's right, it's 2 fucking games, which is fucking ridiculous. $130 for 3-day early access. But dude, move the fucking dates around. Don't give me early access on Tuesday when I have to fucking work and I have all shit going on during the week. Release the game on a Tuesday, so if I do get 3 days early access, I get it on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that right there, I was just like, what are you doing?
I mean, that's
dude. If you were if this game was fucking awesome, and I get a bunch of cool stuff with it, maybe cooler than the stuff that's already included in this, and you tell me I can start playing this on Friday as opposed to Tuesday, oh, way more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paying the extra $70 to get it 3 days early when I can't play it. I don't know. Look, not everyone's on the same schedule that I am. Not everyone has kids and all that shit. But man, you put that shit out on a Tuesday where the 3-day goes on a Friday, I'm going to listen to you now. Now I'm going to be thinking about it. Now it's going to be in the back of my head. Oh, cool. The weekend's coming up. I got no plans this weekend. Yeah. Oh, shit. Star Wars is out. I got 3 days. I can play it over the fucking weekend. All of a sudden, I get the DLC. It makes it more appealing to me. But tell me I get that shit on a fucking Tuesday now as opposed to Friday? No, thanks. I'm good.
Yeah, since video game releases used to come out on a Tuesday anyways, and they all moved to Friday.
Dude, which I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. How do you feel about Friday releases? I love Friday releases.
I mean,
I like it better than Tuesday releases.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the swing actually started, I believe, with
was it called
Uncharted 2 or 3. No, it started with Sony started doing it.
Right.
They started doing Friday releases. It was around the same time that the first Adam Jensen dropped.
Oh man, Human.
Yeah, the first
Human
one,
Revolution.
Yeah, it was like Uncharted 2 or 3 started doing doing the Friday releases.
Mm-hmm.
It might even been Skyrim. I think Skyrim actually came out on a Friday.
Mm.
But it was that era. It was the 360 PS3 era when that shit started happening. But yeah, that's how I feel about it too. Like Ubisoft is not what they used to be. I played the Assassin's Creed Odyssey during the pandemic, and instead of being $129 for all that stuff, or $120 whatever it was, $120 back then, I got it for like $70 because that's a joke, and people are already talking.
Oh, they drop price on their shit real fast.
A couple different subreddits and groups are talking. First of all, I will not be pre-ordering this game. Now, I do some pre-orders, but after working in the industry and seeing how it switched and different things as well too, there is some bait and switch, I believe, in it as well too, and I understand why retailers do it. At least places like GameStop, but they're also shady as fuck. So I will not be pre-ordering this game, and I'm kind of one of those ones that kind of ride the line when it comes to pre-ordering games. Like certain developers you know and trust, certain IPs you kind of know and trust. It's okay, but certain other things you kind of like to stop back and say, okay, I'm gonna have a little integrity here. I'm not gonna pre-order this. I want to see the reviews, and certainly I'm not gonna just right out the gates like buy another gold edition because this shit's. I mean, listen, this stuff. I know the stuff's not going away. They're the ones that really started this.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget when this shit started, and it was with Assassin's Creed, if I remember correctly, as well too. You know, they were the first ones to keep doing it. They're gonna keep doing it because people keep fucking spending your money on it. So don't fucking complain about the shit if you're still fucking feeding the fucking.
It's the same with microtransactions.
Yeah, and I don't even hate microtransactions necessarily.
Well, no, I'm
it's the same,
just saying
you know
that
what I
it's
mean?
the same thing.
It's
The
same
only reason they do this shit
is because people keep
is
doing
because
it.
people pay it.
So for me, I am not going to pre-order this. I'm not going to buy the big one. We don't. Okay, they put a name to the fucking shit, but we don't even know how long those are. Now that being said, I will say that more often than not, it seems like Ubisoft's expansion passes are pretty meaty. I know at least one of them in Odyssey. And listen, it's been a couple years since I've played a Ubisoft game like that, but like with Odyssey, I got 20 hours in one and like 10 hours in another. So it's 30 hours of gameplay, right? So that's pretty fair at that point when you're paying an extra $30-$40. But when you're doing it before you even see it or touch it, excuse me, or know anything about it, I'm not putting blind faith in fucking Ubisoft at this point. You know, for a game that looks like, I mean, like I said, that trailer is very intriguing. Like, I am definitely interested. I probably will play this at some point. But like everybody else said in the Star Wars subreddit, don't fucking pre-order it because literally 2 months down the road, that Ultimate Pass or whatever, the Ubisoft games go on sale so
they do,
fucking
and they
fast.
do have. I mean, I think you can get Mirage. I don't know if they had a gold edition, but you can get Mirage for like 50% off right now.
Yeah,
and actually, Mirage is actually pretty decent.
You know
I
what I
actually
mean?
didn't mind Mirage.
So I don't know. Like I'm really I know the industry is set where it's at, and it's because of mobile gaming. It's because of microtransactions. It's all these sort of things. But once in a while, I have to say, no. I'm gonna work with my wallet on that one. So
I'm gonna circle back to Carlos says if it was SOCOM, dude would pay $500. I would pay probably a gold edition for something like SOCOM because I know that's something that I would play religiously. And if it sucked, then I'll just have to fucking eat it, and it is what it is. But like when it comes to somebody that I trust in terms of like a development studio, if they were to sit there and say I would trade in your kid, I mean, look, man, I would say no right now, but I would hear an offer. I would at least hear an offer. You know, I wouldn't turn down an offer. But like when it comes down to the developer or the game itself, I will consider it all the time. Like I will always look at it. Like if it's something from like Insomniac, or if it's something from like the Gears publisher, who's the developer for Gears? Coalition. If it's something like Coalition, if it's a Gears 6, I already know I'm gonna play it, so I'm cool. I've seen where Gears has gone from 4 or 5, and this is a new IP. It's Star Wars. I mean, look, man, like, look, Jedi Survivor.
Hey,
that was a new IP, but it was Respawn. Respawn has a little, but again, Respawn falls under EA, and it's like, all right, do I trust EA in this situation? So, I mean, it just really depends. It has to be the perfect mixture of stuff. I like to wait for reviews. I don't let reviews convince me of buying a game or not, but I do listen to them because I like, look, if they come out and say, look, this game is broken, it's a piece of shit, and the fucking microtransactions or this and that, or something is really bad, then I'll be like, okay, that seems off. I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, and I think for me, the part of the difference is that too, is that with ever since Disney's had Star Wars, and truth be told, even LucasArts overall, like they haven't had the best track record in the last 2 decades when it comes to games. And, you know, I know they shop around when it comes to these fucking developers, and they're a little out of their element, I feel like, when it comes to the video games. They got lucky when they landed with somebody like Respawn. You got a good developer. Unfortunately, your publisher is stupid because look at the issues they had with fucking Battlefront and DICE.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect that from DICE at all normally, but I mean, they make Battlefield games. They don't make fucking Star Wars games. 2 different fucking worlds.
Right.
They never figured that out properly, you know?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden you give a new IP for Star Wars and some new characters, and you hand it over to fucking Ubisoft of all fucking people. Like, awesome. You know what I mean?
Man.
Because when it comes to Ubisoft, they're going to try to get a little extra fucking change under the table, and you saw the pricing. They're doing it.
I can't help but wonder, man, and sometimes, and I like, I'm going to be the first man. I don't know fucking shit about the inner workings of what goes on between publisher of a game and an owner of an IP and what the price is for something to license a Star Wars game. I don't know if Ubisoft went to Lucasfilms and said, hey, man, we want to make a Star Wars game. How much is it for the license? And they could be like, well, hey, inflation's a bitch, and here's the price of it. And maybe that's why Ubisoft has this thing at $130. Maybe that's why they had to charge so much for it, because, hey, man, it's Star Wars.
It is, yeah.
And maybe Lucasfilm was just like, look, man, it's Star Wars. Yeah. You're going to make a lot of money off because it's called Star Wars. But, I mean, again, I don't understand the inner workings of things. All I know is I think this game looks promising. I'm not paying the $130. Now, look, man, again, if the reviews are good for this and they talk, especially the stealth elements, if you mentioned stealth works really like good in this game, piqued my interest. But man, if you would have said this bitch was coming out on Tuesday and the 3-day early access starts on Friday, that is way more appealing to me than giving me early access on a Tuesday. You can fucking, especially $70. I'm not going to be able to fucking play the game until fucking Friday.
Well, you and I could be able to play half that game for a fucking year.
Yeah,
because you're not going to get the DLC.
I don't know, dude. It's just listen. Look what Helldivers is giving for $40 and keeps delivering an engaging experience. I mean, like I said, man, it's you look at the way certain develop, and at the same time, I love what Arrowhead Games has done with Helldivers, but then you look at something like fucking Payday. That's another smaller price title, but man, that thing was a fucking disaster. It's just. You never know with these games, but Ubisoft games, sometimes they're buggy, and sometimes. But I at the same time, I trust Massive. I think Massive's a really good developer. I don't want to sit there and trash Massive because they're under Ubisoft. The execs at Ubisoft have no bearing on how the fucking Massive team does with their development. So it's just like I don't want to shit on them, but I'm also not paying $70 more to get a game 3 days.
I'm also not flushing the toilet, so
that's a valid point too.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'll probably play it at some point. I'm in some way, believe it or not, excited because it does look like there's some potential.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Star Wars, I'm gonna pick it apart a little bit extra just because that's what I do.
I think you should because you're a fan of the IP and you need to know. I'll play it after it goes on sale. Okay.
That's probably what I'll do. Honestly, I'm not gonna rush into it. I mean, it's not like I in the foreseeable future have a lot of time to play games right now.
And that's
anyways,
hey man, that's the kickoff of the fall rush. I mean, who knows what we're gonna see. We're into April. We're moving up on May and June. Eventually, we're going to start seeing the Summer Games Award or Summer Game Show with Jeff Keighley. Sony and Xbox are going to start doing their shit to start talking about their games come out the rest of the year. Who knows what's fucking playing? We don't know shit about what's set after June from any of these publishers. So
the sequel to Roblox, Round Blocks, is coming out.
Jesus Christ. Can't believe you just said that. All right, Tone, we're going to move on to the news. We're going to stick with video games, and we're going to talk about your other favorite publisher. Let's talk about fucking
Where'd you get the sound bit?
I need to get the sound bit in there. I know. I'm sorry. All right, Tone. So we're going to start with EA. We're going to start with EA. And
wow.
Earlier this week, EA announced that Motive is forming a new team led by Dead Space remake developers to support a single-player and multiplayer objectives for the Battlefield universe.
Wow.
So Motive, who created the fucking well-received and awesome fucking Dead Space remake, and who was also working on the Iron Man game that EA announced a couple years ago, is getting rolled into the Battlefield bullshit. Because EA still doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with Battlefield anymore.
They just want their Call of Duty money, bro.
So they're rolling them into it.
Yeah, of course they are.
Earlier this week they announced that.
Christ.
And so
always,
Motive has also insisted that Iron Man remains a very important priority. Iron Man is still something, and development is going well.
Sounds like white noise, but go on.
But just the other day, Jeff Grubb of Giant Bomb, and I love Jeff Grubb. I think he's very good. He's very honest. He's very blunt. And look, I don't think he likes to be classified as an insider, but he does have enough connections within the industry to sometimes release little tidbits here and there. And he was on a podcast discussing this move by Motive and some information he heard about the Dead Space franchise. Let's check this out.
So they were working on it. They were working on Dead Space 2, and they are no longer working on it. It is on the shelf. because the first games had lackluster sales, is how it was phrased to me. Does this mean it never happens? I don't know if that's the case, but as it stands right now, they were working on it. It was in the concepting phase, I believe, something like it was definitely in pre-production, and now that work has been put on the shelf.
All right, so the game, according to Jeff Grubb, was being worked on and has now been shelved in favor of Iron Man and them working to help with the Battlefield franchise going forward. Once that new story broke, EA was quick to reach out, and they said, we don't normally comment on rumors, but there is no validity to this story. So EA came out and said, no, that's not true. Now, what's interesting about that is like Jeff mentioned in that video, he's like, look, the game was in its concept stage, early development, which means, and the truth is, it was never announced. Okay, so EA never said, look, there is going to be another Dead Space game. It was originally just Dead Space remake, and which was fucking awesome. And the fact that it didn't sell well, I mean, it was a top-selling game when it came out in January 2023. It was a top-selling game of that month. But the fact that it didn't sell well makes me wonder, what was EA's expectations for a single-player game? But, I mean, by all accounts, I thought that game was fucking really good. Like, it was a fucking great game. It was a great remake. And EA came out and said there's no validity to the story. So that makes me wonder, like, what part of Jeff's statement were they going after? What part of his statement were they saying wasn't valid? Was it the fact that it was canceled? Or were they just saying, oh, it was never in development?
Right.
You know, so EA is not going to come out there and sit there and be like, oh, yeah, we had it going and we canceled. They just gave a very blanket statement, but doesn't really give you any details into it. And again, I like Jeff Grubb. I think he's really good at what he does. But then Jason Schreier, earlier tonight, before we went live, he went on Twitter and said this. Yes, Dead Space is now on ice once again. So that basically confirms the sales weren't there. EA is happy with what... It wasn't there to justify a sequel, but my understanding is based on a couple more things that I read from his article is that it did fine in terms of like what it made, but it didn't justify a sequel. EA's Motive explored ideas for a new entry earlier last year, but none were greenlit. So that tells me we're not even at concept yet. They're exploring ideas. Nothing was greenlit. Chief Hope was for a new game, not even a remake of Dead Space 2. Despite today's rumors, both ideas were explored. He also goes on to say that he has spoke to people within Motive that said, we've been on other projects for over a year now. So not sure what information that Jeff Grubb got. Maybe it was dated. But by all accounts, it sounds like Motive was never, ever truly working on Dead Space 2. But, dude, I do want to know, how was Dead Space considered a failure to EA?
That's pretty consistent, I feel like, with EA, though.
Unless it's something that's online that they can sit there and sell you with battle passes.
Or microtransactions.
And microtransactions. They're just not interested. No. Because that remake was fucking dope, man. It was really good. And I would have loved to have seen them explore. But, man, obviously because Battlefield 2042 has been in such disarray and such kind of a shit show, even though I know it's improved over the last couple of years, like it's gotten better, it's still considered a failure by most accounts. There's not people just like, no, Battlefield's not where it needs to be.
They need to stop trying to. I mean,
and now they're rolling in all these development studios.
Annuals. That's their problem. They want to keep trying to compete with Call of Duty, and that's never going to happen. So,
which is weird because a while back, I mean, Battlefield was a pretty good competitor to Call of Duty. Obviously, sales-wise, it wasn't on the same level quite, but I mean, it resonated. People knew Battlefield. It wasn't like Battlefield was like some obscure fucking reference.
No,
I mean,
it wasn't. But after you got out of the PS4 era, or towards the end of the PS4, Xbox One era, it couldn't hold a candle anymore.
I feel like that move with Hardline to a March release, and then putting Battlefield 1 up against fucking Titanfall 2. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
We all know.
But no. So as of right now, it sounds like Dead Space is on ice. They won't be revisiting this franchise, which is a shame because Dead Space is fucking sweet. It's a great horror game. It's a great survival horror. The remake was really, really well received and was really, really good. But EA's focus is on Battlefield. And that's where this industry is right now. live service, online all the time, microtransactions, battle passes, all that shit is where the money is. And that's how they're able to sustain themselves. But it is cool to see that they brought motive in for it because clearly they're focusing on a single-player portion of the game still. That's what they brought motive in for, was to focus on a campaign, some kind of story. I'm cool with that. Like I always liked I thought Battlefield 3 was fucking awesome.
Gnarly.
It was a fucking awesome campaign. Like I really liked that one.
Jesus God.
And actually, I thought Hardline had a good campaign.
Yeah.
The multiplayer,
underrated.
Say what you will about it, but the campaign was really good.
Yeah, it was underrated.
But man, can we just get just have Motive make Bad Company 3, please?
That's what they should be doing.
That's what if you want to do fucking campaigns, do fucking Bad Company 3.
Bad Company. That's all you need to fucking do.
Bad Company was fucking sweet. I thought Hardline was good, man. I know it wasn't super well received, and they did that weird thing where they released it in March as opposed to November when they normally release.
They didn't have enough faith in it. That's how you know.
Yeah,
and
that's
then they'll blame
it was such departure from all the other
yeah.
games. It was cops and robbers, so it was kind of like a weird move for them.
Whatever.
I thought it was fun,
cool.
but they made enough moves where everyone, Bad Company is GOAT. I agree with that 100%. All right, Tone, moving on to our next bit of news. And I think this is an interesting conversation because you made some good points before. But announced in 2022, Kit Harington was slated to reprise his Emmy-nominated role as Jon Snow in a Game of Thrones spin-off series, focusing on his character's arc after the events of Game of Thrones.
Continuing forward.
However, in an interview recently with Screen Rant, Harrington delivered some bummer news to everybody, man.
Bummer news.
He came out, bummer news, saying currently the Jon Snow spinoff.
We don't know if this is real or not because he doesn't know anything.
It's true. He doesn't know shit.
That's right.
No, he knows something about this, but currently he said it's off the table because we all couldn't find the right story to tell that we were all excited about enough. So we decided to lay down tools with it for the time being. There may be a time in the future where we return to it, but at this moment, no. It's firmly on the shelf. End quote. Now, at first, I was kind of bummed about this, but at the same time, Tone, I also respect the decision. I mean, that's a hard decision.
Yeah, don't come out putting out a piece of shit. You've already ended the series with a piece of shit.
Well, but it's also more than that. It takes a lot of restraint. Jon Snow, arguably one of everyone's favorite characters from the Game of Thrones saga. Arguably one of the characters that everyone one of the most loved characters. And you're going to sit there and explore a new story arc for his character going forward? I'd be cool with that because I love Jon Snow. But kudos to Kit Harington and the creator saying, look, man, if we can't push something out that people are going to enjoy that's not going to do right by fans, we're not going to do it at all.
Well, but we don't know the whole story, though, either, because they might have presented something to HBO, and HBO says, eh.
Either then, kudos to HBO.
Right. Well, and HBO is pretty, they're kind of cutthroat sometimes.
But I mean, but also for them not to sit there and push back to HBO, go, no, let's put, kudos to everybody involved there.
Yeah.
Don't put out something that fucking sucks or that people are going to be fucking off put
right,
by.
Because I'm pretty sure HBO at this point, when it comes to Game of Thrones, is going to be very selective.
Yeah.
Because they've shelved other things as well, too. And there's supposed to be still one more piece of Thrones we're supposed to get. But again, it's time like in the past. And what I said to you today was that it's a good decision for them to do this, I think, overall anyways, because of the way that last season ended and how Game of Thrones almost didn't exist.
Right.
Because we've got House of Dragons right now anyways, which is doing well.
Which is well received.
It actually brought people back, even skeptics like myself, who were concerned and worried, can we really do Game of Thrones again and still make it enjoyable and relevant? We found out we could if you do it in the right timeline, but we're staying away from that era and timeline. And that's probably the best thing for them to do is to just lay that to rest.
Let it go.
Yep, I like Jon Snow.
I thought Jon Snow was an awesome character.
Yep, I like Kit Harington, and I just don't know what story they could have told because the wall was fucking broken. So what? We're just gonna watch them and Tormund fucking pick up ice blocks all fucking day.
I mean,
because the White Walkers already attacked and they're gone.
I'd watch a Tormund spinoff. You want to give me a Tormund spinoff?
Sure, yeah, for sure, absolutely. I can get down on that. But that's my point. I think there's a few reasons why it's just good to move on from that. I think HBO is probably gonna think about that a lot too, because then how do you have a Kit Harington show but never show any other characters, or do they somehow want to bring in other characters? Well, do those people really want to be tied back again with that because they pretend like it doesn't exist either at this point? You know what I mean?
No, like I said, man, I mean, say what you will about the final season of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones as a whole was still one of the best like TV series I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, it was.
And
It was a phenom.
Yeah, it was a phenom. I mean, it was seriously one of the rare shows that was just like I could watch this seasons 1 through 8 or 1 through 7, you know, all over again. And Jon Snow was a fucking awesome character. But like again, it's a bummer that it's not happening. But at the same time, kudos again to HBO and the people who were going to make this and said, look, man, if we can't come up with something that people are going to like, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's not do it. Let's just let it go. That takes a lot, man, because they could have easily just said, nah, fuck it. It's Jon Snow. People will fucking subscribe, and they'll tune in. They'll watch it regardless if it's subpar. That takes a lot of restraint, considering. So, but I think you're right. I think HBO looked at it and said, look, man, we're doing fine with House of Dragon. Has nothing to do with anybody.
Don't fucking
move on with that.
Yeah, don't bring those back up. Yeah.
So, interesting, but yeah, kind of a bummer. I would have liked to have seen it, but if they don't think it's good enough, then fuck it.
Yeah.
All right, Tone, the last bit of news from around the realm. CinemaCon 2024 is going on right now. Monday through Friday this week, there's going to be a ton of shit going on from all these distributors, Lionsgate, Warner Brothers. All of them are having panels. They're having stars from their movies coming out. And a couple of them that stood out to me so far. First of all, Furiosa. They had a panel for that from Warner Brothers. They showed an extended clip. It featured lots of fire, lots of trucks, lots of loud action, what appears to be even more attention to a dystopian desert landscape, even more than than Fury Road.
Fucking Tatooine again.
Like it's different. It's different. But the extended clip that they showed generated a shit ton of buzz. Like people were like, "Holy fucking shit,
cool.
This is rad." And we got a little bit more information about Chris Hemsworth's character. Warner Brother co-boss Mike DeLuca called Hemsworth Dementis a lunatic and charismatic, which again I think is awesome because Hemsworth has typically been either Thor or the guy from his movie on Netflix. What's the name of those movies? Extraction. And I don't want to say they're similar characters, him and Thor, but I mean, he's a hero. He's a good guy. He's always been a good guy. Now we get to see him as a fucking psychopath. I think that's appealing because I want to see what else he can do.
He just looks like a dollar store version of Thor.
Right, like a coked out version of Thor.
Yeah.
But Hemsworth said this about why he chose the role. He plays a barker in a nomadic tribe because it comes down to the script initially. The conversation that George Miller and I had, the script definitely informed me as an individual. Twisted. There had to be an element of charisma. So, I mean, he's like really embracing this fucking psychotic character that he's playing. And that, again, that's awesome because it's something that we're not familiar with Hemsworth in that type of role.
Cool. Very cool.
He was an awesome. I do remember that Motel movie vaguely. I don't remember I only saw it one time. It was a very interesting film. Blanco, thanks for hanging out, brother. We appreciate you. But no, I'm really excited for this movie, man. To hear the audience was really happy with the extended cut they received. Mad Max world premiere is at the Cannes Film Festival on May 15th, and then it drops globally on May 24th. Cool. You and I are going to go see that shit because this looks fucking dope. Another bit of information that we got, this is actually a quick story, but they had a panel for Beetlejuice.
Nice.
And they had everybody there except for Jenna Ortega and one other person, but the entire cast was there. And by all accounts, the entire cast is super excited about this project. They are really excited about it. Keaton's already seen most of the film. There's still some things they got to work on. But, dude, Michael came out and just said this to the audience. I can tell you this, though. It's really fucking good. He hopped on a mic. The last cast was great. This cast is so good. Everyone's so friggin' funny. Really, it's true. It's fucking great.
Good.
So to have him come out there and be genuinely excited, you know, I mean, you can always tell when somebody is like just kind of like going through the motions, PR stuff, but when they're genuinely excited, man, like really hyped for this.
That's great.
And they had a huge panel. There's a lot of good stuff. You can't watch the actual panel. You have to be there, but there are some write-ups out there. I genuinely encourage you to go check them out. They're very awesome to read, to hear like Catherine O'Hara and all these other people there are just really excited about this movie. That's really great to hear. This last bit of news from CinemaCon that I'm a little uneasy about. Again, I love Blumhouse. I think they're a growing horror distributor. I think they've got a lot of good stuff underneath their belt.
Absolutely.
But they announced today that they'll be working with Lionsgate in a multi-picture deal with Blumhouse, reimagining horror classics from the Lionsgate library, including the Blair Witch Project. We are rebooting, not a sequel, not a remake, rebooting Blair Witch Project. I don't know about this time.
Right.
We've seen now look, Blair Witch was a huge hit, made $248 million at the box office. It spawned 2 fucking goofy ass sequels. But I mean, look, there was something there. Jason Blum had this to say: "I'm a huge admirer of the Blair Witch Project, which brought the idea of found footage horror to the mainstream audience and became a true cultural phenomenon.
So make more found footage.
I don't think there would have been a Paranormal Activity had there not first been a Blair Witch, so this feels like a truly special opportunity, and I'm excited to see where it leads." Bloom will team with producer Roy Lee on the new Blair Witch. Lee previously actually produced the 2016 Blair Witch. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
There was a 2016 Blair Witch.
Okay.
And it did not review well. It had a 38% on Rotten Tomato, an even lower score with the audience. But it did make $45 million on a $5 million budget. So there is something there. Think to themselves, we can make some money on this. But, dude, I don't know. I feel like Blair Witch Project was lightning in a bottle.
It really was. But you know what ruined that lightning in the bottle was when the actors came out to like MTV Music Awards and like before the movie even dropped out, I believe, everybody, because everybody was
fake.
I was one of those ones. I was on the internet at the time on my dial-up going like, is this shit real? Oh, there's real, because there was websites. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah,
there was
do remember
all kinds of crazy shit.
Yep.
Like people were looking this up.
They marketed that thing brilliantly.
Huge. It was great. It had me hooked too, and I don't even fucking usually believe in that shit. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? And they come out like, da, 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 da. I'm like, what the fuck?
They
And it still made $248 million.
They played it fucking brilliantly.
Yeah, and they still come out. And honestly, I like some found footage stuff like the VHS fucking movies. Those are gnarly.
Yes.
Those are gnarly, but like,
I feel like when it comes to something like Blair Witch Project, like, look, man, like I said, the sequel was fucking terrible. The second one, the Witches or whatever it was, that was fucking garbage. This 2016 one came and went, and it was a fucking fart in the wind. But the thing that made the first Blair Witch was, first of all, everyone thought it was real. Second of all, it was super unique compared to the horror that we had seen up until that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can reboot Blair Witch and have it be the cultural phenomenon it was back then, because back then everyone thought it was real.
Yeah, I don't know who had that on their bingo card for 2024 rebooting some fucking Blair Witch, but nobody's like, listen.
Yeah,
there's plenty of found footage things that you can do and still make it something that people are going to be interested in. This, I don't know if this is going to be it.
Look, man, like I said, I love what Blumhouse has done. I think they've got an eye for, and they have a pretty good,
they've done some awesome shit.
Yeah, they got to feel the pulse of the industry, and they know what people like to see. I just don't think Blair Witch has the appeal that it did. It was lightning in the bottle at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The sequel showed that it was a fucking just terrible idea. Mm-hmm. And then the 2016, I don't know if that's a fucking reboot or what it was. That wasn't well received by critics or fans. I just feel like that first one, which I thought was terrifying, man, that movie was fucking scary. But that was a once in a lifetime thing. Mm-hmm. It was a product of great marketing and keeping things under wraps. And not having people walk on stage of the Music Awards or whatever it was.
MTV.
It's just, it was one of the things where I just don't think, I mean, come on. I think there's other franchises you could reboot.
I mean, here we are again. We're once again talking about franchises being remade, rebooted, all that shit. You know what I mean? Like
unnecessary.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean.
Let us know your thoughts, though. I mean, if you were a fan of the first one, or if you're one of the fucking 10 people that enjoyed the sequel and the reboot, or I don't know what the 2016 one was.
I don't think anybody is. The live chat here isn't really too interested at all. It seems like so. If you're out there, Spotify, YouTube.
Let us know what
we want to know your
excited
thoughts.
about them revisiting Blair Witch. I feel like most of the people listening to this would be like, "What the fuck is Blair Witch?"
Yeah, he's got the fucking Blair Witch sticks on his back tattooed. It's really gnarly, but he's not even.
I don't know about that one, man. I just like I said, I just feel like that's a franchise that we're good. I do remember the game. I think that was that Bluebird Team? I think Bluebird Team did the game. Anyone who likes found footage should watch the movie Creep. Oh, Creep is fucking awesome. Have you ever seen Creep?
I don't think so.
Dude, Britt, Creep has, I can't remember the guy's name. He was from the show. He was on The League on FX. He was one of the guys on The League, and his name escapes me. If somebody could look it up, Britt, if you could look it up, Cuddles, he was in The League. The first Creep, the second Creep was decent. The first Creep movie, he's a fucking psycho, dude. Like, there are some unsettling scenes in Creep that's really, really good. It's an effective movie. The second one was okay, but the first one was fucking awesome. I loved Creep. That's a really good. Mark Duplass. There you go. Thank you, Mark Duplass. Like I said, he was on The League, and he's done mostly comedy, but in Creep,
okay,
he's fucking weird, man. Like it's creepy.
Okay.
So
Well,
definitely worth a look. Check it out. Good call, Britt. I love it. All right, Tone. Moving on to our final topic of the night. Obviously, last week we talked about WrestleMania. We previewed it. We were excited about it.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania 40 has come and gone. And we have a new, new WWE Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes.
American Nightmare.
The American Nightmare.
Cody Rhodes.
Tone, you watched all of
I did. I watched both
I came
days.
over. I got to check
you
out
actually left the house. That was neat.
I got out of my house. I came over. I watched the big tag team match on Saturday, and then I watched the championship match Monday morning. But I want to get your thoughts, dude. Overall, WrestleMania 40. Your thoughts?
There's been a lot of folks out there, whether you're a super WWE fan, whether you're just a pro wrestling fan, all of it. A lot of people out there that that's one's for Drastin.
Fuck Drastin. Give me that beer.
You're good.
Give me that beer.
No, you've had 4.
When's he coming home?
You got to go to bed.
When's he coming home?
You got to go to bed. I already told him I was giving him one.
I'll buy him another one. Give me that beer.
Anyways.
God damn it.
You're cut off. You got to go to bed. And plus, you might have to drive to get some Taco Bell or something. Oh, you got pizza.
I got pizza upstairs, bitch.
So the debate out there right now is this the best WrestleMania of all time? Is this one of the best pay-per-views of all time? I think it's a mix of a lot of those things. I think definitely it's one of the best WWE pay-per-views, period, in a long time. I think it's definitely one of the best WrestleManias in a long time. It was an amazing 2 days of just great storytelling, fun wrestling. We've seen some title changes that were huge as well, too. Bayley beat Io Sky. Damian Priest cashed in after Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Cashed that Money in the Bank suitcase, which was fucking gnarly as hell because he was distracted with Toxic Phil talking back and forth some junk. So that was cool to see that come around. I can't wait to see more how that plays out as well, too. But, there was just some really great moments. Honestly, I've even seen people say, like, quizzically, like, I don't understand why they need 2 days for WrestleMania. Listen, it is something hard to, say, okay, why do you need 2 days of this? But the reality is that there's 2 shows they have, a Monday and a Friday. You got 2 rosters, 2 belt titles. It kind of makes sense. You kind of have to have 2 days worth of different belts and storytelling and whatever. So they don't always crisscross. It is what it is. But they did such a great job this year. They keep calling it the Paul Levesque era, and they're doing that because they want to distance away from the Vince McMahon era.
Sure.
I get it. And you can already tell and feel and have been able to for the last couple of years as he's been getting more and more control, and especially now.
Yep.
It just felt different, and it feels different going forward. And Cody finally finishing that story, now continuing the story. It was a great match. We've both agreed that we wanted to see a little more at the end. We got some really fun turns and surprises.
Yeah.
We saw Cena run out to help. We saw then Seth Rollins come in as Shield to distract him. And then Rock comes out, and then you hear the fucking Undertaker bell toll, and he turns around. The Rock's like, "Oh shit, it's the fucking Undertaker," and he choke slams him, and then Cody, 3 crossroads and you get the 3 count pinfall. So, I think a lot of people thought we might see some legends come through like that. Undertaker, I think, was a surprise. I know a lot of people wanted to see Stone Cold. It makes more sense canonically because him and The Rock. But I think at the end of the day, it still does what it needed to do. And, it's great to see Cody work so hard, leave the company, come back after doing all kinds of things, including help starting a competitor, and now be able to sit at the top of the mountain now. So, man, it was an awesome 2 days of wrestling, and as much as I love a lot of the other promotions, AEW included, which we missed tonight, some big shit.
Yeah.
If anybody out there, I don't know if they showed the CM Punk footage from the Brawl Out or whatever, but I got to watch that tomorrow. But man, for what it's worth, WWE has definitely turned it around, and with the fact that Netflix is coming next year, they're teetering very lightly, as we talked about, which feels like a more mature Attitude Era. I gotta wonder if we're gonna see this continue to usher in and then get to Netflix and be a whole new thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said about the match. Like I said, I came over to your place. It was you, Josh, and I. We were hanging out watching the tag team match on Saturday night. I thought that was super entertaining. It was super fun. Kind of played out how we kind of anticipated because, I mean, the final match on Sunday had to be Bloodline rules. It just left things easier. I don't want to say it was easier, but it allowed them to be very more open about how they were going to approach it.
Oh, yeah.
When you have no rules, no laws, I mean, it is what it is. But it was fun to watch that tag team match. But, watching the championship match, the replay of it, I agree with you 100%. I thought it was a really, really good match. And especially when the legends started coming out, when The Undertaker came out. I mean, I know everyone wanted Steve Austin, but when I heard the gong, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
And you got Pat McAfee losing his mind, saying, holy Christ, the dead man cometh. I mean, I had goosebumps when he appeared. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. The Undertaker was like one of the last guys that I was just
like Logan Paul.
Yeah, like Logan Paul. He was losing his mind.
I was like, what?
But I do agree. Like, I wish after the Undertaker thing, I wish Reigns would have gotten one more big flurry in, like one final like push. Because he basically, once the Undertaker left, it was just Cody Rhodes went in there, did a couple crossroads and put it away. I would have liked to see Reigns get one more flurry of attacks. And then, I mean, I think that would have taken it to another level. I think it would have been incredible. But I think it was a fun match. It was an awesome match. Raw on Monday night was fucking dope.
Yeah,
the opening
follow up. Raw after Mania is usually pretty gnarly.
I am totally in with The Rock being fucking super heel, fucking scumbag going forward with this story. There was some interesting stuff with Raw. Obviously, The Rock came out, had some words with Cody. He gave him something and said, don't ever break my heart again. I'll be back for our story because it's just beginning. People are speculating what could be that, what was it The Rock gave Cody? And nobody really knows. There's speculation.
There's been some
theories.
alluding. Cody kind of maybe a watch. I mean, Cody already talked about the watch in the media scrum that he got that Bruce Pritchard and Triple H hunted down the exact watch that Dusty Rhodes pawned, so Cody go to acting school.
Right.
So there's another watch potentially that it is. I think it's one of the floral beads that the tribal chief wears. He handed it to him because a watch is pretty large unless it was just the face.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, it's all, speculation for sure, but man, yeah, it was a good way to kind of like, Rock's got to go film a movie, but he's going to be back. Like, he clearly is kind of invested again back in the wrestling, and I kind of got to wonder if this lead up and him being able to do what he's done, I wonder if it's reignited some of that passion for him, because you can kind of see, like, he was
eating it up, dude.
Yeah, he was full in. So.
I mean, he was giving Philadelphia the business during Raw, and it was fucking, like, the way he was just, he was loving it. So it was good to see him out there again, but, like, I'm going to go back to what Half-Ass said. He goes, it was something to watch to make you fall back in love with it again. And, like, look, man, like, other than watching Rohit and Jake something and keeping up with them and following their careers, I haven't been really into professional wrestling in quite some time. And with this WrestleMania, being able to watch those matches, it reminded me why I loved it as a kid. It was just so fun. The spectacle, the matches, having those legends out there, everybody just going all out with their matches. I had a lot of fun with it, and it piqued my interest again. Like, I was just, like, telling my kids, like, hey, man,
you should start making.
We're going to start watching this shit. We're going to start watching Raw. We're going to start watching.
They're good ages for this.
I just, it was, man. It reinvigorated my interest. It got me excited. It was fun to watch, and I'm going to be curious to see if Cody Rhodes is capable of maintaining this title and being the face of WWE going, because Roman Reigns did it for 9 years.
Yeah, I mean, begrudgingly for a good portion of that, but I mean, doing the tribal chief stuff and the bloodline stuff for the last X amount of time has been, huge for him, whether you love or hate it. But
once they see Jade, the boys will never be the same.
right, exactly. But the chase is always the most exciting part about that. And sometimes you get to the top, it can get stale real fast. That's one of the kind of the curses of getting the gold. But I think it's in good hands with somebody. We haven't had a good top entertaining babyface, somebody that really cares about the industry with a little bit of old school because of where he comes from in a while. I think it's going to be good for him. I think they need somebody to pass because they haven't had anybody since Cena, and Cena still does a lot of Make-A-Wish stuff, but this is a good person to hand it over to because he wants to be here.
Other than those 2 matches, the tag team, was there any other match that stood out to you that you were just like, holy shit, that was awesome?
I mean, honestly, Seth and Drew McIntyre tore it down. They're great wrestlers.
Seth had a rough weekend.
Yeah, he did. Rhea and Becky put on a great match. I love, of course, Rhea, but Bailey and Io put on a great match as well too. The AJ and LA Knight was awesome. I mean,
how was the trio threat?
That was awesome and fun because Kevin Owens and Randy, they've been doing this for so long, and Kevin is such a big clown.
Yeah.
Like part of what makes him appealing is he's just kind of a smart ass and he's funny about it.
Yeah.
And he's very quick witted. And so him and Randy were doing some bits while fighting Logan Paul, even though he retained. It was actually pretty entertaining. So
that's good. So overall, you were pretty happy with it. Pretty good. WrestleMania?
Yeah. I definitely I enjoyed last year's, but this year was like pretty next level for sure.
That's fucking awesome. That's good to hear. Let us know your thoughts on WrestleMania 40. What were some of the standout matches for you? What were the highlights? And where do you think Cody Rhodes is capable of carrying this torch and keeping it? Or are you concerned with it getting stale? Like Tom mentioned, sometimes the chase is where it's at. But once you get to the top and you're up there, I mean, do you think Cody Rhodes has the ability to be that face for the WWE for the next 8 years like Roman Reigns did? Remains to be seen, but let us know in the comments below. But Tone, that's going to do it for tonight's show, man.
That is going to do it for tonight. So we appreciate you guys for hanging out in the middle of the week, being able to celebrate Hump Day. Hopefully, the rest of the week goes well for you. But and if you're not here live, of course, make sure if you're out there in the digital world, you're listening to us post, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, maybe it's on YouTube because you want to see these good-looking faces as well, too. Please make sure to, like, subscribe, hit that bell on YouTube if you can as well too, but also comment. We'd love to hear some of your thoughts as well. Don't forget, every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, make sure to check out the 7 Dungeons and the crew. Drathon's over there spinning some yarn. It's always hot and heavy in there, whether it's battles where the entire party is dead because they can't roll dice or there's just some great RP going on. Make sure to check 7 Dungeons out. Check that t-shirt as well too. And then of course throughout the week, make sure to keep up with Half-Ass Beer Review, always dropping amazing shorts nowadays. He's got a lot of funny stuff he's doing out there as well too. Lots of content he's putting out there. Check out his beer reviews throughout the week. Once in a while you get to see some good people involved as well too. May stop by. I think this Saturday
y'all are making a trip.
We're making a trip down to Grand Rapids for, I think, Founders kind of like reopening. They just did some remodeling, so hopefully we'll have some content.
Remodeling.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have some content for you in the next couple weeks. We'll share that through his channel as well too. So check him out too. But we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough.
That's going to do it for tonight's show. I'll be live on Friday night with some more Helldivers too. The Automatons are making moves. We've got a new War Bond dropping tomorrow. I've got 250 medals saved up. I know Drastic can join. We're going to hop on there and see what kind of fucking dent we can put on the Automatons. Now, that's the thing. The major order ends tomorrow. If we fail, which I think we're going to, there should be something new happening this week. And will it be the Illuminates? I don't know. All I know is that they have a new mission out there for the Automatons. It's fucking dope. It's a tower defense mode. Really digging that. So we'll be live with that Friday night for a little bit. I do start another kids sport this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, fucking soccer. But I'll still be live on Friday night, have a couple beers, and shoot the shit with y'all. And then we'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of Banter Babble. We'll talk about Fallout. We'll talk about fucking Three Body Problem. I don't know. Are we going to try to see Civil War this weekend?
Man, we're on the travels this weekend, so I don't know.
Civil War might be a tall order this weekend. And then next weekend we have the Henry Cavill movie, the Gentleman, the War. we have a lot of shit coming up tonight. But we'll have stuff to talk about next week. We'll have more CinemaCon stuff and whatever fucking trailers drops from that. So we'll be live next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. For Fanboy Tone, I'm the Dude 79. I'm going to go upstairs and eat some pizza. Hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night, everybody.